What's going on, guys? Thanks for watching. Keep calm and game on. We are back watching some news, seeing what's going on in the world. I just got off work. I feel like I missed a lot. There's probably a lot that's happened today that I don't know about. So I'm going to get caught up. and yeah, we're just going to see what's going on. You guys probably know more than me at this point. But yeah, let's see what's up. This just came out about an hour ago. Trump speaks on U.S. military strikes on Iran nuclear sites. So I think this is the first time he's spoken since the initial statement he made last night. So we're going to tune in and watch that. Just let me check my volume levels real quick. Give me 1 second. Check. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1 second. Check. Testing 1, 2. Check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check. I think we're live, guys. I don't know. Hopefully. Hopefully we're live. Okay, so let's go. Let me make sure my chat's up and running. Make sure that the good old chat's up and running. Yes. Very nice. Okay. Hey, thank you for the like, by the way, whoever that was from. Appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. Okay, but we're going to watch this. And we're going to see what's up. So, let's go.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise.
This might be the same.
Was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat.
I think this is the same video from last night.
#1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were
this is the same video from last night.
Military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East.
Yeah, this was last night. So let's see if there's any new coverage today. Let's see here. President Trump inside Iran, regime change following U.S. strikes on nuclear facilities. Let's. I don't know. What do you want to watch, guys? Let's watch what is Agenda Free TV doing at the moment. What's next for Israel? Conflict after U.S. bombs Iran.
Wikipedia. Operation Praying Mantis. Thank you to Steve Wagner as well. Thanks, Steve.
Okay, not much going on there. Let me just go to news, and we will browse the different stories. Because like I said, I'm kind of behind. Let's see here. Iran, Trump wasn't bluffing by Ryan Donalds. These are on high alert after Iran strikes.
Officials are issuing warnings of possible retaliatory attacks right here at home. Tom Winter joins me tonight. Tom, we just got a new warning in from the State Department.
Just being cautious. People are just being cautious, you know?
The State Department warning all U.S. citizens abroad about potential threats, acknowledging the situation in Iran and the Middle East. Here at home, it's kind of a two-pronged threat, the physical and the cyber. And tonight, law enforcement agencies in multiple cities have stepped up their presence at sensitive sites like houses of worship, cultural centers, and diplomatic sites. The goal is to stop someone who is angered by the war in the Middle East from conducting an attack here. They're also looking for cyber attacks, which could temporarily take a website offline or deface a site. And then there's the concern about people backed by Iran who could already be here. A sleeper cell? Well, in the last several years, law enforcement has charged multiple people in a range of plots.
It's possible.
Tied to Iran.
I mean, Biden let
From
20 million
an
people in.
Assassination on then President-elect Trump to a potential attack against an Iranian activist and journalist here in New York City. It's all on law enforcement's radar, Tom.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated.
Short and sweet clip there. Okay, what else do we got? Let's search by news. Syrian crew takes shelter as sirens sound in Tel Aviv.
We know that obviously Hamas and Hezbollah have been severely degraded. I should just say that we're now hearing an alert.
Right.
which is an indication that we...
Right. So these are the alerts that go out on all of our phones when you're in Israel. It's a 10-minute warning of incoming missiles or something incoming from Iran. So now the location we're in has a verbal alarm telling people to go down into bomb shelters. So we have about a 10-minute window to get down into a bomb shelter, and we'll continue to try to broadcast from that bomb shelter, and even if we can on the way down. Do you guys want to?
Should we go down, or you want to finish this?
Well, we should probably go down.
We should probably go down.
Let's just make sure. Do we have? Are we able to do that? Well, while they're just making sure we can get down there, let's talk about the Iranians' response.
So you've got the proxies as one response. You've got a direct attack from Iran on U.S. troops. That's what we saw after the killing of...
Let's see, let's zoom in here.
Last Iranian attack, we saw that barrage.
Right, I think we're going to head down to the shelters. Chuck, do we have capabilities as we go down?
Just checking your microphones. Be ready in a second. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see if we can switch over. So is this actually working?
You guys hear him?
Okay. I'm not. Oh, get over here.
What's your microphone?
Okay, I think it's.
Bring your IFB box. Bring your IFB box. Just unplug it.
Should we all go down?
Yeah, I think we should all get one.
They're going down into the bunkers.
So the again, you can hear the sirens going off. This is from
Kind of glitchy there.
This it's obviously something that many here in Tel Aviv have gotten used to over the last 10 or.
Do we actually get to see what one of these bunkers looks like?
We've noticed, I think, is fewer barrages, but quite high intensity.
I guess
particularly
that's where they are right now.
Jeremy, you were there on the scene. The damage
Does like
was-
every
I mean, there's also been
does like every hotel or whatever have like a
luxury to have a
like a basement or something downstairs?
Obviously, in a situation like this, and many
Israelis.
in each one.
If you're just joining us, guys, welcome to the stream. We're kind of trying to get up to date with what's been going on today. We're watching the different news stories. Let's see. President hints at regime change following U.S. strikes nuclear facilities. Let's see here. This was 12 hours ago. We watched this one. Let's see what this one is. U.S. strikes Iran nuclear sites in military operation. This was 54 minutes ago.
The White House says its historic decision is intended to show peace through strength. President Trump signaling for a willingness to
Norman, how you doing, Norman?
Peace talks with Iran.
You guys got any
He
comments?
previously
Drop
given
them
that
down
country
below.
60 days to reach a deal. Iran's
I'm gonna try to read as
nuclear
many as
program
I
said to
can.
be crippled after 3 critical sites were taken out by American bombs in a secretive mission dubbed Operation Midnight Hammer.
How you doing, Norman?
Last night's surprise attack came just as the conflict began more than a week ago when Israel took
Miss
Iran
Nightmare, how you
by
doing?
surprise, launching an aerial assault targeting
Can you guys hear me
nuclear
okay?
and military
My mic
facilities.
loud enough?
Both nations have sustained widespread damage and casualties. We begin tonight with Fox's Rebecca Castor, who breaks down the timeline of
What a
this
mess.
bold mission.
That's a mess right there.
President Trump planned to decide whether to hit Iran's nuclear sites within 2 weeks. Instead, he struck just 2 days later.
A wave of missiles targeting Israel, retaliation from Iran for American strikes.
So some of the
on its
missiles
nuclear
actually did
facilities.
hit their
Iran's key
targets.
nuclear enrichment facilities have been
I'm
completely
doing good.
and totally obliterated.
At approximately 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
You'll just have to wait and see, Norman.
a.m. Iran time, the lead B-2 dropped 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator weapons on the first of several aim points at Fordo.
Using bunker buster bombs and Tomahawk
Bunker
missiles,
buster
U.S.
bombs.
military forces struck 3 Iranian nuclear sites, including one buried deep inside a mountain.
Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a
So this
stop
is
to
all
the
kind of
nuclear
stuff we
threat.
already know.
Real. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
enrichment site in Iran show unusual activity in the days leading up to yesterday's attacks. Vehicles were seen coming and going from the facility. As you
Were
heard,
they
is
like trying to
buried in a
get
mountain. 16
all their
cargo trucks
equipment
are
and stuff
seen
out
in the
before
pictures from June
the U.S. went in there?
19th along the site's access
And were they
road.
successful?
The very next day, one truck is directly next to the main tunnel entrance. While the significance of this all is not clear, key nuclear locations were reported to have been evacuated at the time. This is new video captured the moment stealth bombers were dropping. The stealth bombers that dropped the bombs actually returned home. The B-2 bombers flew back to the Whiteman
That is
Air
a
Force
big
Base. That's in
aircraft
Missouri.
right there.
7 B-2 Spirit bombers were used to fly east into Iran. Another group of B-2s were also used to fly west over the Pacific. As we now know, those were decoys. The total mission, some 18
We had decoys.
hours.
We had all of
Tonight,
it.
Iran's supreme leader is vowing revenge on the United States, and President Trump,
Not a smart
including
move.
his administration, threatening that country with additional strikes if the regime further escalates. Fox 4's Amelia Jones continues our coverage now with analysis from a list of experts she talked to. Fascinating conversations, Amelia.
Extremely fascinating, Casey. Across the globe, people are watching and waiting with anticipation to see how Iran responds to this attack. All day, I've been talking with experts in foreign policy, constitutional law, and a retired military general to get a better
If
understanding.
you guys got
of
any
the
comments,
implications
any
this attack could
input
have
on
at
what's been going on
home and
lately, feel
abroad.
free to drop them down in the comment section. I'm
President
trying to
Donald
read as
Trump
many
and
as
his
I
senior
can.
advisors called Operation Midnight Hammer
And if
a
you're brand new to the channel,
success.
consider hitting that
The
subscribe
mission
button.
targeted 3 nuclear sites in Iran. 125 U.S. military aircraft
So they had to
were used
refuel
support the
those in the
operation,
air.
including bombers, fighters, refuelers,
It was like an
and
18-hour
surveillance
flight.
planes. Retired Major General Jim Williams says the operation as a whole is not an unusual operation
So
for the
those
U.S.
pilots had to
military.
be
And the
flying for
bunker
18
buster
hours
bombs that were
straight.
used are effective, but to target something underground is very difficult.
So if you think about mining,
Metalman, how you doing?
mining takes a big effort
I'm doing pretty
to
good.
dig through a mountain to do coal mining and so forth and so on. So these bombs are effective to a point, but whether they actually destroyed these sites, that's still yet to be seen.
Damage assessments are expected to be done. All the while, the world waits to see how Iran will respond.
This regime is scared to make any concessions for fear that they will lose power. And so I'm coming to the negotiating table now in this humiliated position is something they will not tolerate.
Ralph Carter is a political science professor at Texas Christian University. He's taught a class focused on conflict in the Middle East for 30 years. Carter says he expects Iran counterattacks in the coming days. He also says Iran could retaliate by closing the Strait of Hormuz.
Didn't
where
they do that?
20% of the exported
I
global
heard
oil
something
goes
today that
through.
they
In
closed
fact,
that.
Iran's parliament has already taken steps to do so.
But it doesn't have to happen if Iran's leadership decides that a symbolic military response against American interests is sufficient to keep them from being humiliated. So a sharp but small response might be something they could sell to their own people as well. We struck back at the Great Satan.
Regardless, Carter says the American people should expect oil prices to go up.
I think what happens next
Gas
is
prices are
I think
going
we
to
will
go up,
see
guys.
attacks
Oh,
on US
no.
military
That ain't good.
personnel scattered around the Middle East.
But you know what ain't?
I think we will
You know
see
what else
oil
isn't good?
prices go up as they probably already have today.
Iran having
I
nukes,
think we will
so
see inflation
higher gas
go
prices.
up, not
Or
just in
Iran
the
having
United
nukes.
States,
I'll
but
take the higher
globally.
gas
Another
prices.
possibility is Iran could respond with cyber attacks or conduct an attack at a U.S. military base outside the Middle East. Major General Williams says military bases
I'm sure they're going to try
across the
something.
country are on high alert, and that vigilance should trickle down to our
I heard there
local
was also
communities.
some stuff that happened today at some different churches in America.
Military folks.
Like
will have
one
to
guy
be
drove a
alert.
truck into a
Our
church and
police
started
officers have
trying,
to be
like,
alert.
pulled out a gun and
Our
started trying to shoot people.
neighborhood watches.
And I think
have to
another
be alert.
person went into a
Williams
church and like blew
adds
himself
it's not
up.
out of the
I don't know.
question that someone could commit a domestic attack in response to the U.S. involvement.
Now, if you think that you're home and that you're safe, I would say, look, right now you are, but I would say pay attention to what's going on, where you are, how you travel, all of those things. Think safety and have a plan.
Keep your eyes open.
because you never know.
John Doe says Israel is America's daddy. How you doing, John Doe?
Question up in the air tonight is, will Iran get
Let me
any
check
help from
on
other global
X
powers like China and
and
Russia?
see if there's any
Both
breaking
countries
news.
condemn the U.S. and the attack. So while the rhetoric is showing some support, it's unclear right now if that support will turn into
Breaking:
actual
Kamala Harris
tangible
reportedly
goods.
leaning toward running for
Casey,
governor of
back to you.
California.
Yeah, Fox
Okay.
4's Amelia
Good luck with
Jones.
that,
More than
Kamala.
24 hours now since this news broke, and still so many unanswered questions. Amelia, thank you.
Okay, so we saw that one there. What else did I miss today? 6 hours ago, monumental damage was done to Iran. This was 3 minutes ago. This is from Live Now from Fox.
Welcome back in Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. All of this
How you
that
doing,
we're
Austin?
discussing is all happening
How you doing,
because
Austin?
we've been talking about Iran's nuclear program. That's what the U.S. and
You guys
Iran
think
were working to
Kamala's gonna
negotiate a ramp down
gonna
of
run
60
for
days up until Israel
what was
began
it, mayor
striking Iran. Now we're
of
hearing
California?
from the Wall Street Journal
That was only one
VP
report.
Vance is signaling that Iran's
Running toward
enriched
governor.
uranium
She's
stockpile is still intact
supposedly
after the
trying to
U.S.'s
run
strike
for governor
in
of California,
Iran. Standing by
which
is
means what? Gavin
Andrea
Newsom
Stricker.
is
She's
going to run
Deputy
for
Director
president?
of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy's Non-Proliferation and Biodefense Program. She's an expert on the spread of nuclear weapons, and specifically, she follows Iran very closely. Andrea, VP Vance signaling this. I got to ask you, how much of a hurdle is this, if true? How much of a hurdle is this to closing a path to a bomb if their enriched uranium stockpile is intact?
And then Trump posted about an hour ago, he said, monumental damage was done to all nuclear sites in Iran, as shown by satellite images. Obliteration is an accurate term. The white structure shown is deeply embedded into the rock, with even roof, with its, wait, with what? With even its roof well below the ground level, completely shielded from the front frame. The biggest damage took place far below the ground level. Bullseye. That's what he posted about an hour ago. And then I guess breaking news from Fox, it says ISIS behind Damascus church suicide bombing, says Syrian interior minister. So I guess ISIS is claiming responsibility for that suicide bombing at the church I was talking about. Making America genocide, actually. How you doing, S. Obama? Welcome to the stream. If you guys are watching, drop some comments down below. Going to try to read as many as I can. Iran latest missile attack on Israel came from Yemen. I'm just on Twitter right now. Donald Trump also posted, it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MIGA, M-I-G-A. Okay. So he posted that, like, what, 6 hours ago? More than 700 Iranian nationals who allegedly entered the U.S. were released into the country by the Biden administration, according to data obtained Sunday by the Center Square from Border Patrol agents. Trump says the damage done was monumental, that we obliterated them. Satellites imagery shows Iran's nuclear program just got cratered. And now Trump is floating the idea of regime change. He said if the current regime is unable to make Iran great again, then, you know, perhaps a new regime needs to be put in place. So I guess he's warming up to the idea of possibly taking out the leader of Iran. What? What? Okay.
Austin. A lot has changed in the last roughly 24 hours.
Cat W says the reason Iran hates the U.S. is because they created a regime change decades ago, a coup that replaced the Iranian leader with the horrible dictator because oil. Possibly.
We have around 22,000 Iranian
Do me a favor, guys. If you're
centrifuges
watching this video,
eliminated,
smash that
3
thumbs up button.
enrichment
Let's get
sites,
100 likes on
uranium
the video. Every time you
conversion
like the video,
facility,
we
and
go a little bit
weaponization
higher up
capabilities.
in the YouTube
Remaining,
algorithm.
of course, is the question
And
of
consider
the
subscribing if you like what you
highly
see.
enriched uranium, which is enough for 9 to 10 nuclear weapons, maybe more depending on how much of the 20% material Iran managed to move. Now, a lot of this was kept.
Okay, let's
We
go
can
forward
at
a little
least
bit.
be a little bit confident that we hit all of the weaponization facilities, equipment, and around 14 nuclear.
So we hit Iran's most critical nuclear site, which was in Fardo, struck by U.S. bunker buster bombs. We also hit Natanz. I'm totally mispronouncing these, by the way, probably. We hit Natanz, Iran's largest uranium enrichment center, previously damaged by Israeli attacks. So we hit that as well. And then Isfahan, believed to be a repository of near bomb-grade nuclear fuel. So we hit all three of those. And then Israel has been hitting these little ones since they've started their attack. Like what, 8 days ago, 9 days ago now?
Scientists that it knew about prior to the U.S. strike. So while we do need to see what
Israel's also taken out a lot of top officials.
Account for
A lot of top
hidden
officials.
assets,
They put a new guy in
least in the
charge, and
short
he's
term,
gone like
they
within 3
likely wouldn't
days.
be able to sprint to nuclear
Hannibal
weapons.
says they said Israel already hit
And if
those
we've been
sites.
talking about
Iran
the
moved
nuclear
everything
scientists
out
being targeted,
before we hit them.
how
That's what they're saying.
expendable
I don't know if
are
that's
nuclear
true or not.
scientists?
There was
If
some like
those
satellite
mines
imagery of some
get
trucks,
eliminated, how easy is it to get something like that back?
but I don't
It's
know.
a great question. And so in Iran, there are
Cat W says, how do you condone Russia for ignoring international law by invading Ukraine, which was no being the aggressor, but the U.S. just did the same thing. Good luck trying to keep China out of Taiwan. We didn't invade Iran. We went in there and we bombed their nuclear facilities. That's not an invasion. And we didn't take out any soldiers or any civilians. We bombed their facilities. I don't think that qualifies as an invasion. Upside Down says it's crazy how we missed the nukes themselves because they moved them. I doubt they moved them. Prayer Warrior says liberals are so hypercritical. How you doing, Prayer Warriors? You attack the non-aggressor, it's the same thing. Non-aggressor, weren't they like? I doubt Israel. I mean, Iran is a non-aggressor. They're constantly funding terrorism. That was invasion. No, $2 trillion of facility blown away. Yeah, that wasn't an invasion. That wasn't an invasion. No.
very few scientists that have expertise whom were working on new nuclear weapons activities would really represent a brain trust of knowledge in the country. Certainly, they have trained people below them, but in the short term, the medium term, it really, I think Israel and the United States think it did significant damage to
Jim
the
P.
regime's
Toast says, "Who cares
ability
what the useless
to
left have to say?"
weaponize, in the immediate term.
So what we're looking at on the screen.
I feel like the
are
left,
three,
they're never happy about anything. If
facilities
Biden did
that the
this,
US struck
they probably would have been,
yesterday,
oh,
about
Biden's the
24
greatest
hours now
president ever.
ago.
Biden did the right thing. Biden's
At
so
this
bold.
time,
Biden's such a
Florida
great
was the one
leader.
we've been discussing the
If
most.
Biden
That
did it,
was the most critical nuclear
if
site. Natanz was Iran's
Kamala
largest
was in
uranium
charge and she did
enrichment
this,
center.
they'd be like, oh,
Isfahan's
Kamala's
believed to be a
so great,
repository
so
of
bold.
near-bomb-grade nuclear fuel. Andrea,
Girl power.
let's say
No.
the U.S. Strikes again. President Trump has said
No, Biden would have broken international law too.
negotiating table.
Biden didn't even know he was
What might
president, guys.
be
Let's be honest.
The other obvious high-profile
Half the
nuclear
time, he
targets,
didn't
if
even know
there
he was
are
president.
any,
And you
besides
guys
the
know
three
it,
that we're
okay?
looking at on the screen here.
He's sharp as a tack behind closed doors, we promise. He can barely formulate a sentence, guys. He can't even find his way off a stage. There's no way he knew he was president half the time. And everybody knows it. It was the auto pen, okay? Whoever was in charge of the auto pen,
And it's buried even
they
more
were the
deeply
president.
than the Fordow plant. So
Maybe it
around
was Jill
100
Biden,
meters
maybe Hunter
below the
Biden. Who
mountain.
knows? Maybe
It's
Hunter Biden
called,
was running the show.
Calling Gazla, or Pickaxe Mountain.
Thomas
And
Green says
that's
this guy is
concerning
gaslighting.
because Iran
You think
was
so? Let's see. Let's scroll through here.
Truth in that. What level of certainty do we have that the 6 bunker buster bombs, the 30,000-pound bombs that were that struck?
This was an hour ago from Fox News. What happens next? Regime change concerns cloud Iran's future.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in California Republican Congressman and House Foreign Affairs Committee member Darrell Issa. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks very much.
I'm not blaming why Trump did this, but saying that it was not invasion. It's not correct.
I want to play a little bit more of Tim Kaine because he does seem.
If you're just popping in, guys, welcome. I just got off work, so I'm kind of trying to catch up and see what's been happening today. Obviously, last night, the U.S. went into Iran, bombed 3 of the facilities, took them out, obliterated them, in Trump's words, flew home. Nobody even knew what was going on. They hit it, and they quit it. They're back, and now we're kind of seeing what the repercussions are if Iran is going to, counterattack. They've been shooting missiles over at Israel. So I'm kind of just trying to get up to date with what I missed today. So that's kind of what's going on here. At this point, you might know more than I do, but we're just kind of catching up together.
The Israeli foreign minister said
Prayer Warrior says Trump ended the war.
Campaign over the last 9 days had set back the
Prayer Warrior says idiots was gaslighting the crap out of us.
There was no imminent threat to the United States from this nuclear program. It was an offensive.
Yeah, like Biden's press secretary. Talk about gaslighting. Like, yo, she even, like a month ago, she left the Democratic Party. So you have Biden's mouthpiece leaving the Democratic Party, which she was a part of. You kind of know they've gone off a cliff when she's leaving the party she was part. Like, it's just crazy, guys. And oh, man, I'm so glad Kamala was not president. Did not become president because, man, we would be screwed. You think things are bad now? Things are tense now? We would probably be in World War III, or we probably would have accidentally dropped a nuke on ourselves if Kamala was president. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. That's what I think. U.S. sends $7 billion to Israel every year. How much did we send to Ukraine, though? Didn't we send like $100 billion to Ukraine? So $7 billion doesn't really seem like too much, right?
Of war of choice by a president without consultation with Congress.
What do
you started war with Iran?
Offensive war of choice without consultation of Congress.
Well, it's always what the other side
make Iran great again.
President Obama.
YouTubey, how you doing, YouTubey?
Acted against Libya.
If you're brand new to the channel, guys, welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you're watching.
Bill Clinton fired into Afghanistan without getting congressional.
Consider hitting that subscribe button. Last night we had like 25,000 views. The night before we had 32,000 views. The night before 55,000 views. So channel's definitely growing, guys. I appreciate you.
Places over his career, he did it. He was very much an activist.
Let's take a quick look at the chat. Actually, let's zoom in on the chat real quick. Okay, guys, post those comments. I'm gonna try to read as many as I can. Danny Burns says we sent Ukraine old weapons and they're going to pay us. They're gonna supposedly repay us with like rights to drill there or something, right? But that was Trump's idea. That was Trump's idea. That was not Biden's idea. Biden was just like, yo, here's money. Do whatever with the money. We don't even care if you use it to fight Russia. Here's some money. Launder it, whatever. We're not keeping track. We're just printing more. And then Trump gets in. He's like, you know what? Maybe they need to reimburse us. Maybe they need to give us some mineral rights so we can go there. Maybe start drilling, get some of that money we gave them back. You know, that was Trump. That wasn't Biden. Okay. James Fox says 60 to 80 billion at a time to Ukraine, over 300 billion in 4 years. Yeah, $300 billion. But we send our ally Israel $7 billion a year. Okay, guys. Okay. Meanwhile, we're funding Sesame Street shows in Iraq. Not anymore though, because Elon took that out with Doge. But Lenny the Bear says, and drove inflation through the roof. Biden sent Iran $16 billion in cash. Yeah, pallets of cash, guys. Pallets of cash. Trump will make Iran great again with regime change. I heard Trump is like floating the idea. Like, I guess a couple hours ago he posted, it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MIGA, M-I-G-A. So that's what Trump posted. So apparently he's warming up to the idea of possible regime change because the guy running the show over in Iran right now, if he's not going to play ball, Trump just might take him off the field, if you know what I mean. You know. So if I was him, I'd smarten up a little bit. Prayer Warrior says Danny's wife loves her boyfriend. What? He wants regime change. That means boots on the ground. You people want boots on the ground? We don't want boots on the ground, man. If anything, Israel would put boots on the ground, maybe, but we're not going to put boots on the ground. Why would we need to put people on the ground when we could literally fly a jet in there? Okay, we took out 3 of their facilities in the dead of night. They didn't know it was coming. In the blink of an eye, done. Why would we put troops in? We have drones, we have jets, we have bombers. We don't need to put troops on the ground. Cat W says, OMG, this is why Americans are perceived as being terribly ignorant. Robert Brown says, also, no one is sending money to Iran. It's their money. They're being allowed to have it. Sharebear says, we already got boots on the ground and in the sky. We got boots in the sky, guys. We got boots in the sky. Casper says, money went offshore. Money went to offshore banks and Biden and Harris's accounts that they said was going to Ukraine. Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Dustin says, that language was a Sesame Street in Iraq supposed to be in English? Were they trying to teach them English? I have no clue, bro. This isn't our fight. This is our fight. Oh, speaking of it, JM Song says, you can't acknowledge how much money Israel takes from the U.S. way more than Ukraine. Well, I mean, they're our ally, right? Let me see here. Let me pop back over to this one. If you're just popping in, welcome to the show, guys. We are catching up on what's been going on today. Watching some Fox News clips, CNN clips, stuff like that.
All of us understand that the 8 years of the Iran-Iraq war means that you do not
also reading you guys' comments
of, nearly 90 million people and think that you're going to get out quickly. So we're not going in. We have no need to go in. We're not trying. The president is not trying to do regime change. He's made that clear. He is trying to change the regime's way of doing business for the first time in a real meaningful way.
All right, guys, I just posted in the chat. Did Trump just start World War III? You guys can vote on it. A lot of people voting. We'll check back on that in a couple minutes. So let us know. Did Trump just start World War III? Did he just start World War III? I heard somebody. Who was it? Was it? I don't know. Somebody said like they're getting involved in the war and we need to stay out of their waters. Who said that today? I haven't seen any reports from here, but I saw it on Twitter.
There is a lot of concern about regime change, though, and what might come next. I went to dinner on Friday night with a couple of Iranian friends, and that's the one big thing.
I Need More PSI says, why do we send hundreds of billions to Ukraine and Israel, but we can't give ourselves free trade schools, colleges, or healthcare? Because we're idiots. That's a good point, man. Because we're idiots. Mikey Freed, how you doing? Places to see. No, that's ridiculous. Terry Vinning says, an Iranian leader said just 3 days ago something big was coming. They destroy every country chanting death to America, not a threat. Yeah, I asked you guys the question last night. Do you think it's a good idea for Iran to have a nuke? And like around 20% of the people watching said it was a good idea for Iran to have a nuke. I have a feeling all those people were probably liberals or Democrats. Doesn't make sense. Why would we want Iran to have nuclear capability? What would be the benefit to us or anyone in the region if they had nukes? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense.
That they worry about is if the Ayatollah were to fall, what replaces it? Joaquin Castro had those same concerns. Listen to what he said.
I also heard that there was like a suicide bomber at a church today. I can't remember where. And then another guy drove a pickup truck into a church and then got out and started like trying to shoot people. And then somebody there took him out. Those are just reports I heard. I haven't really looked too much into it. I think the suicide bomber one, ISIS took credit for it. I think ISIS came out and said like it was them. So I have no idea. Obviously, that's not a good thing, right? That's definitely not a good thing.
If the government of Iran collapses, we could have a repeat of what happened with Iraq. Al-Qaeda and later ISIS essentially franchised across the Middle East and parts of North Africa, and the threat of terrorism, at least for a while, became even greater.
Danny Burns says they only have a nuclear program because they want to deter these kinds of things. I doubt that, man. I think if they had a nuke, they would probably use a nuke. Like, they're shooting missiles at Israel. You don't think if they had a nuke, they might try to use... I don't know, guys. I feel like you don't give the people who are funding terrorism a nuke. That just does not seem like a good idea to me.
Greater because of that.
So what about those concerns? And we've heard from a lot of Iranians that, yeah, you've got some groups on the outside that the Shah's...
Danny says they have nuclear programs for nuclear energy. That might be true, but why would they get to like 60% enrichment? Right? You don't need 60% enrichment for, energy, right? Because once you get to 60, it's not that hard to get to 100% from there. You don't need that much enrichment. At least that's what I've heard. So, like, why are they trying to enrich it that much if they just need it for energy? Doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't really make sense.
Sun and other groups, but you don't have anybody from the inside that's ready to do this. They say that we'd love to have democracy in Iran, but we're not ready to rise up and take over yet.
Well, I think that's simply something you hear from people who are assuming that the status quo is acceptable.
No. They hate the status quo.
No, but well, you hear that, but I've met with all the groups, the Shah's groups, MEK, and other groups. Each doesn't.
James says you need 60% for a reactor core, 3% enrichment for civil programs. I believe they had way more than 3% enrichment. Reports were saying they had 60 or close to 60.
Like each other. But the reality is that you have two major groups in Iran. More than 85% of the population are Shia, the majority of those being, quote, Persians. They don't have the same breakdown that you had in Iraq, where you have a majority and a minority, and the majority's been ruled by the minority for decades. They don't want the Shah back. They say they want democracy. It's doubtful that they'd get a true democracy.
A lot of new viewers in the chat.
And a theocracy that essentially imprisons their own people, and in fact, it tries to spread throughout the.
Okay, guys, the comments are going by way too fast. 90% weapons grade. Danny, Israel was provoked on October 7th. That's true. Fox News is the only fear-mongering news agency. We're watching some CNN stuff too. Like, let's go to CNN real quick. What is CNN saying? Let's check them out. Let's see what CNN is up to, right? Not that anybody watches CNN anymore, but let's just take a peek here. Satellite images show before and after of Iran's nuclear sites. Okay, so this is the before and the after pictures. Let's see what these look like.
We just got brand new details about Operation Midnight Hammer from Defense Secretary
Midnight Hammer. What a name, guys. Operation Midnight Hammer.
With me at the Magic Wall to break this all down, and for about what we know, is retired Colonel Cedric Layton. Colonel, thank you so much for being here. Take us.
Also, guys, real quick, the comments are going by super fast, so I'm going to turn subscriber mode on. If you've been a subscriber for more than a minute, you will be able to leave a comment. So consider subscribing so you can drop some comments. This will make it easier for me to kind of keep track, and it'll kind of weed out the trolls and everything, hopefully. So if you want to keep commenting, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to turn that on in 3, 2, 1. Also, let's check on the poll I got going in the chat. 175 people have voted so far. I asked the question, did Trump just start World War III? Out of 179 votes, 37% say yes, and 63% say no. So the majority of you watching don't think Trump started World War III. I don't think he started World War III. I think things will be tense for a little while. Russia might say some strong-worded statement. China might say something. Some people might, threaten to get involved in the war or whatever. But I feel like it's going to slowly simmer out. At least that's my hope. I mean, he could have opened Pandora's box and things could get really bad really quick, obviously. But I feel like maybe things will be okay. But go ahead and vote on that poll, guys, if you want. And yeah, subscriber mode is turned on for anybody that's been a subscriber for a minute or longer. And then these are the before and after images,
through
according to
this
CNN.
because it had been in the planning for quite some time.
Pentagon,
It really
125
has,
plus
Manu, and this is
aircraft
the,
involved in
graphic
Operation
that
Midnight
we
Hammer.
provided us,
125
with
aircraft.
this. So they started, they've been
Jets,
planning this
fueling
for,
planes,
in some
all
ways
of it.
for over a year, and in other ways they've been doing exercises that kind of did the same thing for up to 2 or more years.
Oh, wow.
But the key thing is this: the actual operational planning really started a few weeks ago once the direction came from the president to do this kind of thing. So when they left Whiteman Air Force Base, they did it basically right
Stuart
after
Bell
the
says
24th
Nostradamus
of
said
June,
World War III
and then they
started
came through and
in
struck
1990
the
and
targets
ends in
Iran,
2057.
About 18 hours later, 18 hours and 19 hours later, and they hit the 3 sites.
And
that we've been
Chan,
talking
because you're
about
spamming,
before.
you're going to get
These
put
are
in
the ones
timeout
that, of course, have become
for
famous now:
10
Fordo,
minutes.
Natanz, and Isfahan. And these are the ones that, of course, not only because they've been in the news.
Don't
but
you
because
guys
of
just
what they
hate
had,
spammers?
became
I hate
important,
spam.
from an operational perspective to actually eliminate.
Metal
and
Man
that's
says money
why
won't
they had the
create
kind of
change,
payload that they
unfortunately.
did on
Yeah,
the
you can't
nuclear
just throw
There's been
money
a
at
lot of
something.
discussion about the Fordo
Doesn't work that way.
facility in particular, and the Pentagon says they've obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities. But Fordo in particular, how hard is that to penetrate?
So take a look at this right here, Manu. When you see the security perimeter right here, and then in just a second we'll get some more details here.
How you doing,
because
Lawson?
You've got the support building and tunnel entrances. This is way deep underground, almost 300
Totally
feet underground.
obliterated.
So when you look at the layout of this, you've got those tunnel entrances that I talked about, that support building, and this mountain covers the centrifuges. The centrifuges are the key part to them doing what they need to do to, in essence, enhance
AI
the
is more
uranium
scary
to
than
get it
nukes.
to the
AI is
level that
probably
they
going to be the
need.
doom of all of
So
us.
when you look at
Hey,
what
you're
this
right,
looked
man.
like
AI is
before
probably
June
going to just
20th,
wipe us all
this
out.
is what the fuel enrichment
It's going to get too
facility
smart,
looked
and
like
then it's
from a
just going to
satellite
take
view.
control like in the
Now
Matrix.
take a look at what happened here. Every single thing that you see here has been actually changed a bit. When you look at this, the June 20th
Okay,
slide,
the before and
take
afters.
a look at the facilities up here and over here. Now look, this is gone.
Wow.
This right here is also gone.
That's
so these
gone.
are the kinds of things that happen. And another thing that's really interesting about this, take a look. This is that support building that we showed earlier. Everything looks intact. These are the tunnel entrances. Now let's take a look. When you go over here, you see that these tunnel entrances have been damaged beyond repair. There's what appears to be smoke damage right here at the support building. And then when you look here, see these things right in this area right here. These are penetration holes right where the bombs
some big
hit.
holes,
And
guys.
when you look at, there's actually a further one when you go this way, right up in this area, right here, which shows that there are very key.
Candace Owens is
precise
claiming we did
impacts
very
that
little
they
damage and
struck.
we were
So
lied
the
to.
idea here was to get at the
Well, that's what
centrifuges
Iran's
and to use it
saying.
with
They're like,
multiple
oh, they barely
bombs
hit us. It
so
was
that
just
they
a
could go
scratch. We
down
can
deep
rebuild.
enough to
I think we did a lot of
eliminate
damage.
the possibility of them even enriching the uranium.
I like Candace Owens, but she's not an expert on this thing, you know?
Meantime, there's this
She's not an
concern,
expert.
real concern about
I'm going to trust the
retaliation
people
from the
in
Iranians
the White
against
House and the
US
Pentagon
assets in the region. There
that
are
were actually in the Situation Room
thousands of troops
over
as
Candace
well.
Owens.
Yeah, basically 40,000 troops throughout the Middle East, Manu, and especially concentrated in the Persian.
Robert Brown says, so enrichment basics, 3% gets you insufficient power plants. Anything up to 70% range gets you power production at efficient rates. 90% at higher is weapons grade with the catch. She's not an expert on a lot of things. Yeah, that's true. Terry says, I love The Matrix. Those are good movies. The first one was the best, but yeah, I am a fan of The Matrix as well. If you guys haven't left a comment, hit that subscribe button, stick around for a minute, and then you'll be able to drop a comment. We're watching some CNN coverage. They're showing the before and after satellite images of what happened before the U.S. went and striked the facilities and after. So
Gulf region,
kind of
across the Persian
interesting.
Gulf, Iran itself. So that means that it's within missile ranges of not
Also, guys,
only
do me a favor,
the
smash that
long-range
like
missiles,
button.
obviously,
Can we
but
get to
short-range missiles
200
as well,
likes?
as the Iranians could easily lob into
We got like
areas
260
such as
people
the United
watching.
Arab Emirates, Qatar,
Can we get to
Bahrain,
200
Kuwait,
likes?
and Iraq. So those are the kinds of things that our forces have to worry about from a force protection standpoint. But each one of these areas really makes it very
George says,
clear
good
that
show. Thank
every
you. For sure,
single one
George.
of our troops is definitely within range. But it
Chernobyl and
doesn't mean
Fukushima
that
are
they
still
can't defend
problems?
themselves. They will be able to defend themselves if the proper measures are taken and if we have the right intelligence when it comes to Iranian intentions.
Yeah, that's everything that U.S. is watching for right now, the next step that the Iranians may take. Colonel Layton, thank you so much for breaking this all down for us.
You bet, Manu.
Wolf, back to you.
All right, Manu, I'm joined now by CNN national security analyst Beth Center. Beth, thanks so much for joining us. What kind of intelligence gathering is happening right now to ensure that the Pentagon's original assessment that had been made public, that these Iranian assets were obliterated, is actually accurate?
Right. So there are
Trump
going to
says they
be
were obliterated, but
multiple
Trump likes
different
to
kinds of sensors
exaggerate. But I
and
think they were
overhead
damaged
imagery,
like
as
a
well as
lot.
trying to maybe listen in on what people are saying. The Israelis have a human network of spies. So all of these things will come together in the intelligence community. We call it all source intelligence. We're taking things in from everywhere we can to put together a picture of what happened inside that hall. But in addition to that, everybody, at least all of us on the outside, are asking the question, where is all of Iran's highly enriched uranium and their centrifuges? Can we say that with these 3 sites hit, that there aren't other, that HEU, enriched uranium, and the centrifuges haven't been seen?
So you got people saying, "Oh, we shouldn't bomb the facilities because it's fine if Iran has nukes," and then we bomb it, and then the same people are like, "Well, how do we know we took the nukes out? Like maybe we should double check to make sure there's no uranium." Like, why do they care? Like they didn't think it was a bad idea for them to have nukes in the first place. Now they want to be sure they don't have uranium to build nukes. Like they're so flip floppy. They're so freaking flip floppy. They just changed their mind. It was like, oh, well, Trump did this, so we're gonna say this. Oh, Trump's doing this now. Oh, we're gonna say this. Well, guys, stop. Just stop. Valerie, they moved a lot of the stuff. Supposedly, I saw some satellite imagery of some trucks and stuff. But if we were watching the satellite feed, we see the trucks pull up. We see the trucks back out. We know where the trucks went. So, it's like if they did move it out, where are they going to hide it?
Secreted away to covert facilities.
And Iran
that I
just
would
said like
say
they
it
emptied
would
it
be
months
crazy
ago.
to think they didn't have.
But why would Iran say anything different? Of course they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, it's like, well, they missed. We moved it a long time ago. Like it was a waste of time. They attacked us for no reason." Of course they're going to say that to save face.
Iranian-related threats.
Well, a couple of different ways. Again, looking at
Good
all
day
the
from
groups that are
Australia.
very well
How you doing,
known, that
Community
have been
Compass?
tracked over many years because
How are
they
things
have
in Australia,
backed
man?
U.S. troops throughout the region for a long time, and we are also, I'm sure, working.
They might have
with
other
our
secret bunkers,
liaison
but
partners in these
I feel like
countries. For
we still
example, the
hit them
Iraqis
pretty
have
hard,
been
and it's going to take
fantastic
them a
partners.
pretty long
I
time
don't
to
like to
rebuild.
talk about it, of course, and we don't.
Considering that Israel has also taken out a lot of their leaders, their military leaders, like a lot. They put a new guy in charge, he's gone. They put a new guy in charge 2 days later, he's gone. So it's like, even if they still have the stuff to make nukes, it's going to take them a long time to rebuild. And when they don't have the leadership to put all that in order, it's like, yo, they're kind of dead in the water right now. Whether we got all the uranium or whatever. Mr. Lewis says, this is the most CNN I've watched in 10 years. I think this is probably the most CNN anybody's watched in 10 years.
Either, but obviously you need to work with
This live stream here that you're watching, this probably has more views than CNN. Okay, let me just check this real quick. Okay, so this video, okay, maybe not. This video has over 1 million views. Our current live stream has 22,000. So 22 of you have popped into my live stream, and I guess this has like 1 million views, supposedly. But, keep in mind, though, they have 18 million subscribers, and I have like 6,000 subscribers. Oh.
Groups in their countries.
But you guys are cooler,
We'll be working
okay?
with our
You guys are
partners
cooler.
And then also independently to be tracking all of this.
Still a very, very dangerous situation indeed. All right, Beth Center.
Community Compass says, great question. We don't quite know where we stand. Our prime minister isn't saying anything. You talking about Iran? Oh, or you mean you talking about Australia? Israel can take out Ayatollah, but I don't want U.S. to be involved. Okay, let's bring up the chat, guys. Let me see some of your guys' comments here. Let me bring this up, make it full screen, make it a little bigger. There we go. Where's the Ayatollah? How you doing, Mike? We got Mike in the chat. Valerie, Lawson, Chet, Terry, Stuart Bell, George Jack, Mr. Lewis, Terry Vinning, Miss Nightmare is here as well. A lot of new people in the chat. A lot of new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, by the way, guys. Appreciate it. Ayatollah is the leadership. Good show, brother. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that, bro.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, let's check on the poll we got going. Okay, so I asked you guys, did Trump start World War III? Did Trump just start World War III? 340 people have voted on this so far. So if you haven't voted yet, drop a vote in the chat, okay? So far, 37% of you say yes, Trump just started World War III, and 63% say no. So far the no's are winning. The no's are winning. And also, guys, thank you for smashing that like button. We got 42 likes already. Dang. You guys are mad lads in the chat. Okay, so let's keep watching this.
About the potential retaliation from Iran in the wake of the U.S. attack on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. This morning, Iran's foreign minister warned that they have to respond, and the U.S., quote, crossed a very big red line, end quote. Joining us now, CNN's Homeland Security.
Well, I'd rather cross
Julia
a red
Fallon.
line
Julia,
than
thanks so much for joining
get
us. What do you
nuked,
think?
you know?
What are Homeland Security officials doing right now under this heightened alert?
Yeah, I didn't know if Trump would actually do it.
They are concerned. We are hearing that there's going to be more focus.
Because like when Trump was like, well, we're going to give you 60 days. And then, they gave him 60 days. And then Israel started, hitting them with everything they had. And then, a week went by. And then Trump's like, well, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to make up my mind within the next 2 weeks. He was just prepping things. Misdirection. He's like, look over here, guys. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will. Meanwhile, there's bombers and all this stuff going on behind the scenes. And then 2 days into it, bam. In the middle of the night, done. Valerie says, I'm a vet. Well, thank you, Valerie, for your service. We appreciate it. Regardless on, what you believe politically, whether you're on the right or the left or down the middle, doesn't matter. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you. Let's see here. Yeah, thank you for your... Oh, Chet is also a veteran as well. Yeah, guys, if you're a veteran, even if you're not, you could be pro-Trump, or you could hate Trump, doesn't matter. If you served our country or are currently serving our country, we definitely appreciate you because you are the ones that put yourself in harm's way. You are the ones that put yourself in harm's way or are still currently in it. So, you're the reason we can have these conversations and we have freedom of speech because without you guys, we would not have the freedom to have these conversations. So you guys rock.
Focus on the domestic intelligence side of potential Iranian sleeper cells. We don't know to what extent.
Did I hear about
they
China
are
and
formed
Taiwan?
Ready to activate, but it is something worth watching. We've talked a lot about the denigration of Iran's capabilities to launch
What did
major
China
attacks
and Taiwan
what
say?
happened to Hezbollah in Syria, but nonetheless, it's that those capabilities have not been eliminated. Focus on the potential
Obama built it, Trump
homeland
destroyed it?
security threat, different than a threat against U.S. interests abroad, and that will include internal investigations as well as, of course, a focus on border
Valley says,
crossing.
looks like we returned it to its
President
natural
Trump's
state,
former
dust.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is warning that the attack could have Iran activate what are called sleeper cells. Is that the biggest concern for potential retaliation from Iran?
I think it's the biggest homeland security concern, but I don't think it's the
China
most
sent over
likely
64 jets really
scenario.
close to
From
Taiwan.
Iran's
Did they do that
perspective, going
today?
after U.S. interests abroad is going to be easier. We have lots of troops there. We have
Let me type in China news maybe. China news. Fox News about China. This was posted an hour ago. Chang sounds alarm over alleged mysterious Chinese flights into Iran. We know this isn't good.
Welcome back. Chinese leader Xi Jinping claims that
Oh wait, this was
Beijing
3
is
days
deeply
ago.
concerned about the Israel-Iran conflict.
Okay,
saying that the
that's
conflict
an
should
old
be
video.
de-escalated as soon as possible. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that if Iran's oil exports are cut off, China may find itself in trouble. More than 90% of Iran's oil exports go to China. President
Okay, let's
Trump's
go to live
2018
news.
sanctions on Iran caused global.
Let's watch some live news and see what's going on.
If it's up to Trump to bring calm back to the situation, it could be up to him between the United States and Iran. While theoretically that would leave Israel and Iran to keep fighting, Trump could tell Netanyahu if he wanted, and now you're done. We've attacked Fordo, we've attacked Isfahan, we've destroyed Natanz, and now you're
So
done.
that's what
Israel would not say this openly.
that's what the sky looks like over Israel right now.
Israel would be done the moment Trump would say it was done. So to a large extent, it is up to him, but a lot of it depends on Iran's retaliation. What is the nature of the
Iran vows retaliation.
Has the supreme leader said anything about this attack?
Iran's parliament votes to close Strait of Hormuz. Am I pronounced? I feel like I'm not pronouncing that right. After U.S. attacks nuclear facilities,
that have been issued from ministers.
Iran fires dozens of missiles at Israel.
I think that there's a reason for that. I think that he right now
Dozens hurt, widespread damage. So some of the missiles Iran are shooting at Israel are actually hitting. They're getting through the Iron Dome and they're hitting some targets.
The Iranian political establishment on the one hand, the other hand.
What's my thoughts on aliens? I feel like if there were aliens, they'd be like, "Yo, there's this planet is effed. Like we're not even gonna bother invading this thing. Like they got too many problems, and they go off to a different planet. They're like, we'll come back in like 5,000 years."
To be thinking, what is he thinking? What is he thinking? What is he planning at this stage? I will say I might have missed those statements because I've
seen reports that he's been pretty.
Last night was the first night Iran didn't strike Israel. I thought like, is that true? I thought they did start striking Israel.
It's a tactical move.
Maybe they didn't do it that night.
Also for internal politics, it's a dangerous thing to say anything right now, so better not say anything. But also externally, let everyone think, what am I thinking at this point? Again, the thing that is most important, I would say, that came out of him from the last week is the fact that he.
If you guys haven't already, consider subscribing. Stick around for a minute, and then you can drop a comment. How you doing, Joyce McLean? Oh, you mean illegal aliens? I thought you meant like aliens. I thought you meant aliens. How you doing, Papadilla?
Do this fast. I want to mark
I know Biden like let in between, it was like between 12 and 20 million. I don't know if we know the actual number. 12 and 20 million illegal aliens when he was president. That's a lot. I'm sure some of those, not all of them, the majority of them were probably, decent individuals. But even if it's like 10% are like bad people that want to do bad things to the U.S., that's still a pretty big number. I mean, 10% of 20 million, that's still a lot.
Here's the 3 spots that have been hit. We've been looking at.
It only takes one crazy person to do a lot of damage. I thought you were talking about like aliens, like flying saucers.
Repository of near bomb-grade nuclear fuel. Those are the 3 targets that they've hit. Let's say there's another round.
12 and 20 million paid liberal voters. Yeah, pretty much. I feel like the only reason why they let them in, not because it wasn't because they felt sorry for them or anything like that. I feel like they let them in because they wanted to make them legal somehow with the stroke of a pen or something and make it so their votes would count so Democrats could basically stay in power forever. And because the census counts just people that live there and not actual citizens. The blue states, they get higher percentages, and it's like it's changing the vote regardless, even if they're not actually voting. It makes their population differ, and the census changes, which means they get more. It's all a scam. It's all a scam, guys. They were doing it for that, for political reasons, not because they felt sorry for them. That's a whole lot of crap. But it's just, I'm not an expert. That's just what I think. I'm just a guy on YouTube with a webcam. Okay, that's just what I think. Some people agree with me, some people don't. But I think that's probably a big reason. Maybe they felt a little bit sorry, but they're probably thinking like, hey, if we can get them into the country and then they have kids and their kids have kids and then they somehow become legal or whatever, even if we have to wait like 10, 20, 30 years, eventually those 20 million people, they're going to have kids and then those kids are going to be legal citizens, right? And then they're going to vote for whoever let their parents into the country, which is the Democrats. So it's like, we might have to play the long game, but eventually those 20 million people we let in, they're going to vote for us, and we're going to stay in power forever.
south, in the sea there.
That's what I think.
And
I don't think they did it
not
because, oh,
only
we
is
feel so
Iran
bad for
exporting
these
oil
people.
from there,
No.
but Saudi Arabia, which
No.
is the country that is south on the map here,
Joyce,
also
how you doing?
exports
Census for
oil
2030,
through a
so
northern
Democrat
strait of
states
Bab
gets
in
more seats in
Bengal,
Congress and Senate.
going through
Yeah,
the Straits of
exactly.
Hormuz. So if
Exactly.
Iran were to block off that narrow passage of the straits,
Kevin says
that
Trump
would
knew this was
greatly
happening.
affect
I am Groot.
the
Welcome
world
back, I am
oil
Groot.
trade. And that is
A
another
lot of
possible
familiar
retaliation of
faces. A
Iran.
lot
The
of you have
reason
been
I bring
popping in
this
every
up
night. I appreciate it.
is because if the United States
I
were
am Groot says
enter
Dems
Iran
don't
as
care
Iran
who
is
they
now,
use to get
then I
power.
don't see the United States landing troops on the ground in Iran or trying to invade.
No
More
one knows the
likely,
numbers or
we would
estimates.
see
Yeah.
them targeting strategic sites
Lawson
of
says before
Iran.
this started, I
This
didn't
could
realize
be
how
a continuous
dynamic
attack
Israel military
against
was. Like these dudes are
Tehran,
serious. I
the
always
military
knew
capabilities of
Mossad
Iran,
was real, but
or possibly,
deal. But wow, yeah,
again,
Israel, the
against
Israel
150
military,
different nuclear
they know
sites that they
what's
have,
like. They are
Natanz and
precise. They're
Isfahan that
taking
used to be
down
Israel
like
before, but the
the
United States
leaders of
attacked them
Iran.
directly.
Like boom,
Bridges were
boom,
destroyed,
boom.
but it is
They're
also
like
very
they
likely
got
that
full
instead of
air
preventing
superiority
the
like
United
on the
States
first
to target
night.
Iran's naval capabilities
It
in
was
order to
like, I mean,
stop them,
obviously,
to deny
they
them
got a
the
lot of their
possibility
equipment
of
and
going
stuff
to the
from us
Strait of
because they're
Hormuz.
our
And
ally,
Iran does have a
you know.
powerful
So
navy,
we
does
helped
have
them on the
submarines,
back
does have the
end
ability to
side of
land,
things.
to deploy
But man, they
supplies
that
there.
you know
So
they are
possibly the United
precise.
States
Like
would
these
attack
guys have been
different
training.
major ports in
They like
Iran.
know what's up.
The Badr port, the different, never mind, I can't show
They're
them
pretty
around, the different
impressive.
ports in Iran that Iran would use in order to
A chat says, "Let me and my old unit buddies go back in. We're all chomping at the bit, driving my wife nuts." Yeah, the thing is, like under Biden, the enlistment rate for the military was pretty low. Like people were leaving the military, people were just not signing up, and then Trump gets in, and the numbers just skyrocket. I think we hit our quota for the year like 4 months early. Like everybody's signing up for the military now because we actually have a commander in chief that puts America first and doesn't it doesn't look like a moron. Okay, like everybody knew Biden wasn't all there. Biden knew he wasn't. Guys, don't get me started, okay? And the media's like, "Oh, he's sharp as a tack," and then he has one debate with Trump, and they're like, "Oh, well, we didn't know he was this bad." Yes, you guys did. You were running cover for him the entire time. Everybody knew he was that bad. Everybody has eyes. They just tried to keep him away from the media as much as they could because they knew, like, if we put a camera on this guy, eventually Americans are going to realize this guy is not all there. And then, oh, it's like, well, we can't really hide it in a debate. Oh, we didn't know. We had no idea. How could this happen? They knew the whole time, guys. They knew the whole time. Just like when Kamala ran for president the first time and she got like zero, she had like 1%. She had to drop out. She was like one of the first people to drop out. And then Biden picks her as VP and they're like, oh, she's the greatest thing since Swiss cheese. The greatest thing since sliced bread. Kamala, oh, Kamala. But when she dropped out, people were like, ah, she sucks. And then suddenly, boom, overnight, it's like, oh, she's great. She's great. No. They were saying she was crap until she was Biden's replacement because Biden said he wasn't going to run, which I also think that was a whole scam. I think somebody just tweeted like, oh, I'm actually not going to run this time. And Biden was just like in a hospital unconscious or something. The whole thing's a scam, guys, okay? It's a scam, right? That's just my opinion. I don't know for sure. Joe Biden, don't sue me, okay? Don't sue me, Joe.
Iran's big economic threat, which we all know is something that Trump cares about. I won't say necessarily most, but
Miss Neimer says almost every time Biden was walking upstairs to go into the plane, he fell up, going upwards. Yeah, Trump stripped a couple times to be fair, but man, Biden, like the wind would blow a little too fast, and he'd fall over. It's all a scam, yeah.
The United States would probably more likely to launch a
Toaster News says the theatrical space weapon, Rods of God, that would strop and obliterate targets. I think it was deemed illegal with the space treaty. I'm unsure though. I haven't heard of that the Rod of God. I've heard people like say we have space lasers or something, and that's how like they started fires in Hawaii or something like. I don't know if the space lasers are real. They probably, but Biden's dementia was just a cover up. You think so? A lot of people think Biden, had body doubles and with face masks on, and he was just sleeping in a hospital bed somewhere, and people were just like, on camera pretending to be him. So many conspiracy theories out there. Biden told a guy in a wheelchair to stand up. Yeah, I think Biden was also like, "Where is this one lady?" And she had just passed away like 2 days before. She's like, "Where's she at?" He was not there.
Military response. In turn, if again all of a sudden explosions go off in
Rods
U.S.
of
embassy
God
somewhere,
are Tuscan carbide drops from space. The velocity is the bomb.
going to
Huh.
largely mirror the nature of Iran's retaliation.
I want to ask you
G-Dog
something
says,
I've
we all
asked
just
about
forgot when
yesterday.
Biden was president and Iran drones
What's
attacked
next
our
on that
base
step?
and we did nothing back.
Iran.
Yeah. Or how about when the Chinese spy balloon was up in the atmosphere? How about, and like, we didn't know? Like, China's got a giant balloon up in the air and everyone's just like, oh, what's that? And like, what? Were all the drones flying around and the White House is like, well, we don't know what it is. Guys, you're supposed to be like the most powerful military in the world, and you don't know who's flying these drones? Like, what do we pay you guys for? Like, man. Terry Viking says, I'm sure he said it. Don't. then, yeah, don't. What do you have to say about people coming into the country? Don't. But here's a free cell phone, and here's free rent, and you want a free sex exchange? You can have that.
Let's say there is a regime change. Let's see.
Shadow Glock says Trump did just start World War III. He was supposed to keep us out of the war. First thing we are now is for war. Oh, yeah, let me check on the poll, guys. Okay, let me check. If you haven't voted yet on the poll we got going in the chat, 467 people have voted so far. More of you are voting right now. So I asked the question to everybody watching. Did Trump just start World War III? 40% say yes, and 61% say no. So 40 to 60. The no's are still winning. A lot of people still think he did. Obviously, 40%, that's still a pretty big number. But most of you are saying that he didn't start World War III. I think tensions will de-escalate. Things might get worse before they get better, but yeah, I think we might have some, maybe some lone wolf attacks in the U.S. of like crazy people attacking. Even today, they had some people attacking churches. They had like a suicide bomber. They had a guy drive a truck into a church and start shooting at people with a gun. And that was just today. But were those linked? I don't know. I think ISIS took responsibility for they said they were a part of the one that blew himself up. But I don't know. But I think like stuff like that might happen. But and that's obviously unfortunate. But I mean, Iran can't have nukes, because if Iran had nukes, like, it would make what's happening now look like a freaking cakewalk, you know?
What happens to the Iranian proxies that we've been talking about now since?
And like Trump said, yeah, strength, then peace. Yeah, peace through strength, but first you have to have strength
Hamas, not so much
in order to have
LA.
peace.
Of course, the lines of communication and resources been cut off.
You can't just have a big stick and say, hey, don't make me use this stick. Sometimes you got to use the stick so people know, like, hey, we're going to use this stick if we have to. Strength through peace. Nightmare, I'm not worried. Conservatives will show up.
So if that regime goes down, what happens to Hezbollah, the Houthis?
And the guy who drove his truck into the church and started shooting, like one of the people there at the church pulled out a gun and shot back, and I think they took him out. I haven't looked too much into the story, but yeah, I mean, you don't do that in Texas, okay? Don't try that crap in Texas or a pro-gun state, because you try that and you ain't gonna last very long.
Hamas and other proxies.
Chet says prayers to the bases over the Middle East. Yeah, definitely pray for our troops, guys, because things are getting tense, and they are the first ones in harm's way over there. So
control a large part of Yemen. They have controlled large parts of Yemen since 2014.
Guys, do me a favor, smash that like button. Let me check how many likes we got. How many likes we got? Dang, 54 likes. That's a lot. Also, if you haven't subscribed, guys, consider subscribing. I have subscriber mode turned on, so if you've been a subscriber for a minute or longer, you can leave some comments in the chat. And if you want to help support the channel and help keep my internet going, my lights on, you can click the link in the chat there, become a member on the channel. But if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. I'm just glad you're watching and subscribing.
but it wouldn't affect them that much.
But if you want to go above and beyond and help support the channel, you can click the link or hit the join button down there. But don't worry about it if you can't. Money's tight. And gas prices are going to be going up, so, you know, I get it.
Also the injuries that most operatives or most high-ranking operatives had as a result of
Lawson said, can you imagine if something happened in the U.S.? Yes, we have National Guard in every state, but knowing how many gun owners we have, yeah, I feel like, I mean, obviously, something could happen. But it's like, do we just let Iran have nukes because something might happen? I feel like the thing that might happen is probably going to be less severe. Obviously, still not good, but it's probably going to be less severe than them getting a nuke. Like, a nuke is no joke. Like, you've seen what some of those missiles have done when they hit their targets in Israel. Like, one missile takes out just freaking buildings. You put a nuke in their hands, and we're talking entire cities gone, right? That's if they use them, obviously. But we don't want to get that close, right? Trump posted, I guess a couple hours ago, he posted this. It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? I think maybe he's warming up to the idea of possibly taking out the guy who's running things, or maybe he's just kind of floating the idea of like, hey, you keep it up, man. You keep making these threats toward the U.S. You keep stirring the pot, and you don't come to the table and start talking peace, then maybe we just take you out and put somebody else in charge that's going to negotiate with us. I think he's kind of, this is his kind of a nice way of saying, hey, guys, like, you better cut it out because you keep this up and you might not have a job for much longer, okay? He straight up said, like, we know exactly where you're at. We're not going to take you out yet. We don't want regime change, but hey, if you can't make Iran great again, then maybe it's in the cards. You don't want to test Trump, guys. He literally just blew up 3 of your nuclear sites. In the dead of night, nobody knew what was going on. You guys were snoozing, didn't know what was going on. You don't want to mess with Trump, okay? He's not afraid to use the stick, okay? Biden didn't even know where the stick was. But Trump isn't afraid to use the stick. I'm basically at the Mexican border, all quiet here. New Mexico today, Texas yesterday, and Arizona tomorrow. Nice. I used to live in New Mexico. I lived in New Mexico for like 23 years.
Pager attack and walkie-talkie attack. You know, Hezbollah now is Iran's chief proxy, as you said, and they are.
Thank you for the hearts in the chat, guys. Appreciate it.
In the war, they're making a lot of statements, but are not retaliating to the attacks on Iran itself. If Iran's support for Hezbollah were to all of a sudden disappear, regime change or what have you, Hezbollah would very likely start to disintegrate and be absorbed.
The stick was up his rear passage.
It is a political.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's also a military wing and a terror organization.
Attached to strings, yeah, puppet. Definitely a puppet.
It would very quickly try to just become a political wing advocating war against Israel.
I need to make some. I need to make T-shirts, guys. I need to have a merch store. Start making T-shirts.
The other proxies, I'll get to Hamas in a moment.
Little coffee cups.
Proxies throughout the Middle East, Syria.
Metal Man says we in Louisiana have pet alligators.
The local warlords, because they, unlike Hezbollah, which is a political.
Swift Colt says the things that make me nervous is the silence from their proxies. Yeah. Weekend at Biden's, pretty much, man. Weekend at Biden's. I never saw Weekend at Bernie's, but I saw the trailer and it looks really funny. If you guys are popping in for the first time, guys, drop some comments down below. Subscribe. If you haven't, you'll be able to drop a comment if you stick around for a minute or more. Got a lot of new faces in the chat, a lot of returning faces. We're just kind of watching different news stories that are going on at the moment. Trying to kind of get up to date with everything that's happened today. I know Hegseth came out this morning and he did a little press conference, took some questions. He basically broke down exactly what happened. Let's see if I can fast forward a little bit. The audio's like really bad until they actually get in the room. Okay, where is he? Here we go. I'm trying to find it. Miss Nightmare just super chatted $1. Thank you, Miss Nightmare. Everybody in chat. Thank you, Miss Nightmare. Appreciate it. You're the real MVP. Okay, here it is.
Last night on President Trump's orders,
Here we go.
U.S. Central Command conducted a precision strike in the middle of the night against 3 nuclear facilities in Iran, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan, in order to destroy or severely degrade Iran's
Mike says, I love when
nuclear program.
Biden read the
As
teleprompter.
Chair of the Joint
Yeah.
Chiefs will demonstrate, it was
End of line.
incredible and
Repeat the
overwhelming
line. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
success.
yeah.
The order we received from our commander-in-chief was focused, it was powerful, and it was clear.
The audio's a little jacked up on there, and it gets better though.
The Iranian nuclear that Iran
There we go.
must not get a nuclear weapon. Full stop.
Full stop.
Thanks to President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength.
I actually like Heck
Iran's
says.
nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Many presidents have dreamed of delivering the final blow to Iran's nuclear program, and none could.
The B-2 bombers look like an alien jet. Yeah, the B-2 bombers.
The operation President Trump
Those things look
planned was
high
bold,
tech.
and it was
You see
brilliant,
one of those things coming in, man.
showing the world that
You better
American
just start praying.
deterrence
Let's just say that.
is back. When this president speaks, the world should listen. And the U.S. military, we can back it up.
Yeah, I like Heck
The
says.
most powerful military the world has ever known. No other country on
Have you guys seen like the inside of his suit jackets? It's like the American flag. Like he opens up his suit and like inside it, it's the flag. It's pretty dope. I think it's cool.
planet Earth could have conducted the operation that the
I heard
chairman
something about the Iran press conference tomorrow. I guess they are afraid of the uprising. Yeah, they also got to worry about their own people rising up because I'm sure a lot of their people are not too happy right now.
60 days that he seeks peace and negotiation, he means 60 days of peace and negotiation. Otherwise, that nuclear program, that nuclear capability will not exist. He meant it.
Lenico Ruiz, how you doing,
This
Lenico?
is not the previous administration. The President Trump said no nukes. He seeks peace, and Iran should take that path. He sent out a truth last night saying this.
You still got 357 Magnum,
Any
357
retaliation
Magnum, and
by
6-shot
Iran
revolver from
against
the
United States
1800s.
of
Nice.
America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Signed, the President of the United States, Donald
You
J.
never saw an American flag, but
Iran
plenty of
would
rainbow
be
ones. Yeah,
smart
during
to
Biden for
heed
sure.
Those words. He's said it before, and he means it.
Yeah,
I
Hexeth
wanna
won't
give
leave our people
recognition
behind. Yeah,
to the
Hexeth
Chairman of the
is
Joint Chiefs of Staff,
he's a real deal.
the Joint Staff, General Eric Kurilla.
Like I think on his first day on the job, he was doing training with the troops, like push-ups. Went on like a 10-mile run. You know, he was doing that with the troops. What other commander is going to do that? You know, everyone's like, well, he's the youngest guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's the youngest commander. Yeah, why wouldn't we want that? Okay, you don't have to be some old guy who can barely stand to know what you're doing.
CENTCOM, who did a phenomenal job, he and his staff. All of
The B-2 bomber looks like something Batman
policy
would fly.
across the board.
Pretty much.
This was a joint effort, and across the Pentagon.
Animal Farm says these people are jokes, and so is America.
recognize the
I don't know about that, man. I think this was a pretty impressive strike.
Who flew those
Whether you
fighters,
agree with it or not, like this
flew
was
those
impressive.
refuelers.
This was precise. This hit its
I wanna
target.
recognize the sailors
Nobody knew what was going on.
those
It had
destroyers, in
misdirection.
those subs, on those
It took a
carriers,
lot. There was a lot of
warriors,
moving parts,
all
and
of
it just
I wanna
happened
recognize our
flawlessly.
soldiers doing air
So whether you
defense,
think it was a good
space
idea or not,
defense,
like
QRF,
it
warriors,
happened
all of them.
correctly. Like
Every
boom,
American involved
done.
in this operation performed flawlessly. And I want to give recognition.
A lot
to
of
our
moving
allies in
parts.
Israel.
A lot of things to go wrong, but
This is a plan that took
went off without a
months and
hitch.
weeks
That's
of
impressive.
positioning and preparation
You got to give the
so that
military
we could be
props.
ready when
Whether you agree with what
the
happened or
President of
not,
the United States called.
you got to give the
It took a
military
great deal
props.
of precision. It involved misdirection and the highest of operational security. Our B-2s went in and out of
Yeah,
downtown
Raising Cane.
Tehran, not Tehran, excuse me, of these nuclear sites, in and out and back without the world knowing at all.
Terry Vinning says,
way, it
if
was
only
historic.
there was a war.
A strike
They
that
were as worried
included the
about
longest
Nancy's
B-2
alcohol
Spirit bomber
consumption.
mission since 2001 and the first operation of the MOP.
Pilots will never have to buy a drink
massive
again.
Ordnance penetrator. The mission demonstrated to the world the level of joint and allied integration.
This video has
speak to the
27,000
strength of our
views,
alliance
guys.
and our joint forces.
Guys are crazy.
As President Trump has stated, the United States does not seek war. But let me be clear. We will act swiftly and decisively when our people,
Don't F
our
with America,
partners,
guys. You
or
do.
our interests are
It ain't going to end well for you.
Iran should listen to the President of the United States and know that he means it, every word. I want to give congratulations to our Commander-in-Chief. It was an honor to watch him lead last night and throughout, and to our great American warriors on this successful operation.
How you doing, N. Jacob? Thank you for
God bless
subscribing,
our
N.
troops.
Jacob, by the way.
God bless America, and we give glory to God for his providence and continue to ask for his protection.
Miss Nightmare says, I'm 21 and I'm proud to be an American and will protect my country. And I was very disappointed and sad and cried a lot when Joe Biden was president. I feel like a lot of people cried when Joe Biden was president, including Joe Biden.
I turn it over now to the chairman for specifics.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thanks for recognizing all of our folks out there.
There's
doing
Raising
our
Cane.
nation's work, and nice to see everybody on this early Sunday morning. Last night, on the President's orders, U.S. Central Command, under the command of General
That's a
Eric
lot of
Gurley,
medals on his jacket.
executed Operation Midnight Hammer, a deliberate and precise
How you doing,
strike
Winston?
against 3 Iranian
God
nuclear
bless the
facilities.
you who has
This was a
say.
complex and high-risk mission carried out with exceptional skill and discipline by our joint force. I want to thank every service member, planner, operator that made this mission possible. Their actions reflect the
God
highest
bless
standards
America. Yes,
of
yes,
the United
yes.
States Armed Forces. This operation was
Jill has
designed
been crying
to
her whole
severely
married life.
degrade Iran's nuclear weapons infrastructure. It was planned and executed across multiple domains, theaters, with coordination that reflects our ability to project power globally with speed.
Real quick, guys, we are watching the the press conference that happened earlier this morning with Hegseth and Raising Cane. Also, we got a poll going on in the chat. You guys can vote on it if you want. Dang, 500 votes. We got 500 votes so far. I asked you guys the question, did Trump just start World War III? 500 people have voted. 40% say yes, and 60% say no. So it's still kind of the same. More votes have came in, but it's still kind of the same. So the majority of you think World War III is not happening yet, but still 40%. That's still a lot. So if you haven't already, vote on that poll.
Speed and precision at the time and place of our nation.
And also, if you want to leave a comment, guys, just hit the subscribe button. Stick around for a minute, and you can drop a comment down there.
Knowing the timing or nature of this plan. I'll refer you to the graphic on the side as I walk you through some of the operational details. At midnight Friday into Saturday morning, a large B-2 strike package comprised of bombers launched from the continental United States. As part of the plan to maintain tactical surprise, part of the package proceeded to the west and into the Pacific as a decoy, a deception effort known only to an extremely small number of planners and key leaders here in Washington and in Tampa. The main strike package, comprised of 7 B-2 Spirit bombers, each with 2 crew members, proceeded quietly to the east with minimal communications. Throughout the 18-hour flight into the target area, the aircraft completed multiple in-flight refuelings. Once over land, the B-2s linked up with escort and support aircraft in a complex, tightly timed maneuver requiring exact synchronization across multiple platforms in a narrow piece of airspace, all done with minimal communications. This type of integration is exactly what our joint force does better than anyone else in the world. At approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, and just prior to the strike package entering Iran, a U.S. submarine in the Central Command
Just
area of
adjusting some stuff in the
responsibility
chat, guys.
launched more than 24 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles against key surface infrastructure targets at Esfahan. As the Operation Midnight Hammer strike package entered Iranian airspace, the U.S. employed several deception tactics, including decoys.
Several deception
as the
tactics.
Fourth and fifth generation aircraft pushed out in front of the strike package at high altitude and high speed, sweeping in front of the package for enemy fighters and surface-to-air missiles.
Kevin says, colleges today just take your money and brainwash our youth. I kind of agree with you, man. I didn't go to college, but I'm not a fan. I think they're a waste of money. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be a doctor or something, you probably want to go to college, right? That's like a no-brainer. But I don't know. I feel like they just take your money. And then once you get a degree, you still can't find a job half the time. Miss Nightmare says, if I had kids, I'd homeschool them. I was actually homeschooled. 14 bunker busters ain't playing. Shadow Glock says, it pissed me off. There were 3 kids that went missing. The next week, they were found shot dead. We need to replace our police with military.
The strike package was supported.
If you haven't already left a comment down below, guys, drop a comment down below. Consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you really want to help support the channel, you can hit the join button down below. And if you can't find the join button, there's a link in the chat. I got it pinned up at the top if you want to become a member on the channel. If you don't, you can't afford it, don't worry about it. But shout out to all the members that we currently have.
High-speed suppression
guys rock, appreciate you.
To ensure safe passage of the strike package. With fighter
and thank you for the thumbs up, by the way, guys.
Preemptive suppressing fires against
trade school. I've heard trade school. Yeah.
Iranian surface-to-air
I think I heard Trump is wanting to take a lot of money from the colleges and put it toward trade school,
on the way in.
Like improving the trade school programs and stuff.
PM Eastern Standard Time, 2:10.
Kevin says you're he's a trade school graduate. Nice. What'd you go to trade school for?
Dropped 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator weapons on the first of several aim points at Fordo. As the president stated last night, the remaining bombers then hit their targets as well, with a total of 14
precision strikes
against 2 nuclear target areas. All 3 Iranian nuclear infrastructure targets were struck between 6:40 p.m.
Oh, tool making, nice. G-Dog says, is Israel and Hamas having a ceasefire or something else? Because I ain't getting nothing new from the news. I don't know. Maybe they ran out of rockets. If Trump refused to attack Iran, the Democrats would have been calling him a coward. Yeah, exactly. Yep, pretty much. No matter what Trump does, the Democrats just spin it in a negative way.
Time in Iran, with the Tomahawk missiles being the last to strike at Esfahan to ensure we retain the element of surprise throughout the operation. Following weapons release, the Midnight Hammer strike package exited Iranian airspace and the package began its return home. We are unaware of any shots fired at the package on the way out. Iran's fighters did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us. Throughout the mission, we retained the element
Nobody
of surprise.
saw them. They went in, bombed it, left.
Deployed approximately 75 precision-guided weapons during this operation. This included, as the president stated last night, 14 30,000-pound GBU-57
14.
Penetrators,
and all those were 30,000 pounds, and there were 14 of them dropped.
Of this weapon.
That's insane.
I know that battle damage is of great interest. Final battle damage.
And these guys flying the jets had to fly 8 hours straight and be refueled in the air multiple times. 18 hours. They had to fly for 18 hours straight. And then they get there 18 hours in, and they're like, I'm sure they're probably exhausted, and they still have to be accurate, and like, you know, that's their big moment. It's like, they can't screw this up, and they're going on like 18 hours straight, no sleep. That's insane.
A guided missile submarine, and
that's why we got the best guys. We got the best of the best in our military.
And reconnaissance aircraft, as well as hundreds of maintenance and operational professionals. As the secretary said, this was the largest
Zeb?
B-2 operational strike
And football, bro. Yes, I do. I do play Fortnite, guys. This is the reason this channel is called Keep Calm and Game On is because I primarily play video games. This is a gaming channel, but I also like to watch news videos and kind of react to them. I do a little bit of everything here, but it is primarily a gaming channel. But I like to talk politics and stuff while I game. So if you also like video games, consider subscribing because I play a lot of them here.
And are fully postured.
I've been playing a lot of Truck Simulator lately, American Truck Simulator,
which would be
and
an
Fortnite.
Incredibly poor choice. We will.
They flew for 37 nonstop,
the safety
37
of our
hours.
service members and civilians remains
How
our
is that even
highest
possible?
priority. This mission demonstrates the unmatched reach, coordination, and capability of the United
Joyce,
States
nice.
military. In just a matter of weeks, this went from strategic planning to global execution. This operation underscores the unmatched capabilities and global reach of the United States military.
The
As
United
President
States
clearly
military.
said last night, no other military in the world could have done this. I join the President and the Secretary in being incredibly proud of the air crews, naval forces, cyber
Metal Man says if
operators,
Trump found a
planners, and
cure for
support
cancer,
teams,
Democrats
and
would hope that
commanders who
cancer
made this
wins.
mission possible. It is their skill, discipline, and teamwork that makes this operation possible. I am particularly proud of our discipline.
So 525 people have voted on the poll that we have going in the chat. If you haven't voted on that question, vote in the chat. Did Trump just start World War III? 39% say yes, and 61% say no. So it's still about the same amount. Like it fluctuates a little, but it's still about the same amount. 526 votes.
Related to operational security, something that was of great concern to the President, the Secretary, General Kurilla, and me, and we will continue to focus.
How you doing, Sammy? Sammy Rhodes says community college is a joke too. I took an air conditioner class, had to do math, communications, and a computer class just to learn HVAC. Yeah, I'm not a fan of math. I don't like math. I'm not good at math, guys.
As we stand here this morning, many assets are still airborne, and we have hundreds deployed. I ask that we keep our warfighters on their way home and our deployed service member in our thoughts.
I think they're going to take questions
our
after
joint
this.
force remains ready to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests in the region. Thank you very much.
We will take a few questions, Phil.
Me? Yeah. So, is regime change off the table, Mr. Secretary? And to the chairman, you said the battle damage assessment is still ongoing.
Like he said, we didn't go in there to
do
regime change. We just went in there to take out the missiles, but now Trump's saying like, the complexes,
regime change.
the bunkers.
The president authorized a
But
precision
Trump's kind of like floating the idea, like, hey guys, you
neutralize the
keep
threats
threatening
to
the
our
U.S.
national interests
after we said
posed by the
don't mess
Iranian
with us
nuclear
because there will be repercussions. You keep
and the
you keep
collective
doing that.
self-defense of our troops.
You keep
and
saying that you're going
our
to
allies.
retaliate, and maybe
Thanks for
we
your
do have a
question.
regime
I think
change. Maybe you're not
PDA
going to be in
is
charge
still pending.
anymore,
It would be
mister.
way too early for me to
You better
comment on
think
what
twice before you start threatening the U.S.
Green. No, behind you.
You either come to the table or Trump drops the table on
Tell
you.
me, was there a particular moment when the president decided to pull the trigger on this operation where he said, now, rather than being, something in the holster, now we're going to pull the trigger on it?
I miss Nightmare. I think it's going to take a while for things to kind of calm down. Things could escalate before they calm down, though.
Wanted a negotiated outcome, gave Iran every single opportunity, and fortunately was met by stonewalling. Which is
G-Dog says Iran might do something to U.S. bases tomorrow.
To come to the table and give up enrichment.
If they're smart,
give up
they
the
won't.
nuclear program.
But they're
an
still trying to stay in
particular
power
moment,
with their,
certainly a moment
their
in time
government,
where
still
he
trying to
realized,
stay in power. So if they
that
don't
there had to
retaliate
be
in
a
some
certain
way, it's going to
action
make them
taken
look
in order
weak.
to minimize the threat
So they
to
almost
us.
have to, just to kind of save face.
General, you say that General Kurilla.
It depends on because I think when Trump took out that terrorist leader, I think it was like Soleimani or whatever his name was. When he did that, they retaliated. They sent some rockets toward an army base. None of them killed anybody, but they hit close to a base. And a lot of the soldiers there had like hearing loss and stuff because of the shock waves from the missiles and everything. I don't think anybody died, but
effectiveness of this operation.
It obviously could have been
they've
worse,
made
but
smart
it's
decisions
yeah.
to minimize the risk to U.S. forces in the region.
So we get no advance warning.
No, sir.
In congressional.
They were notified after the planes were safely out. Well, we complied with the notification requirements of the War Powers Act.
Attacks, they were notified.
But I think the
immediately
U.S. is prepped pretty well.
Yes.
Like they didn't just go in there, drop bombs, and be like, "Oh, they're just gonna leave us alone." Like there's aircraft carriers in the region. There's fighter jets on standby. Israel's monitoring the situation too. Like we got things set, so if they do retaliate, we can nip it in the bud like real quick.
Biggest threat. And second question is very
Like
important.
they got it thought out pretty well.
What will be your
And they're already
next
like in a
step
weakened state.
if Iran or militia
Obviously, stuff could happen in the
under
U.S.
Iranian
like
influence on the
crazy
region
people with
attack
you
US
know
interests
a gun or a bomb or something.
allies in the region?
I think that's what people are worried about the most because it's kind of hard to
Chairman.
monitor all that.
Ongoing,
but when it comes to military bases, I think they probably pretty much got all of them on high alert and they're kind of monitoring it. But you can only do so much, you know, for the U.S. as a whole, right?
Primary target here, we believe we achieved destruction of capabilities there.
I Am Groot says if they do anything, it's not going to end well for them. They need to accept defeat. If they think this was an embarrassing event, this was just a sighting in a rifle. Yeah, pretty much. Joyce says 200 every other year and the cost of a CEWs. Oh, to renew your certificates. If you're part of the U.S. Air Force, which aircraft would you want to fly? I don't know. I don't know what's like currently available. Probably like a fighter jet. Though those G-forces, man, those G-forces seem pretty intense. Maybe I'd actually like to like fly an older jet, you know? I've never been on an airplane, so I would probably get super
whether
sick.
It's in Iraq or Syria or bases in the Gulf, as the president said, it would be
F-22.
The chairman said it would be a very bad
idea.
Isn't
that the Raptor,
for
F-22
Iran
Raptor?
Or its proxies to attempt to attack American forces.
Back in New Mexico, I lived right outside of an Air Force base, a Holloman Air Force base, and there were Raptors always flying over with sonic booms. It would shake the house. It sounded like thunder. They'd be flying over all the time and like super low, because that's where they test a lot of their new jets and everything in Holloman Air Force Base, White Sands, New Mexico, because it's a pretty big airspace. So I would see those things flying all the time.
Against the United States.
Well,
they also
unfortunately,
filmed
because of
like
the policies
3 of
under
the
previous
Transformers movies there.
Drove those countries
which is
together,
pretty
cool. And ultimately, that creates a challenging environment. For this particular operation, the focus is on Iran and Iranian nuclear capabilities. That's our focus here, is to not just say that they can't have, but President Trump has said from over 20 years, frankly, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And ultimately, he decided this is the moment, given their stonewalling, when direct military action had to be taken to prevent that from happening. Yes.
Thank you very much. General Kane,
I tried doing Flight Simulator once, you know, just the like Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's like Flight Simulator 95, like the really old one, like the original. And I could not land the plane. I kept crashing.
What do you say to veterans who may be concerned the U.S. is getting into another open-ended war in the Middle East over weapons of mass destruction?
Thanks, sir, for the question. I won't comment on what force protection measures are being taken in the region. What I will say is we're being proactive and not reactive, and being very thoughtful about ensuring that we do all that we can to protect our forces out there.
And I would just say, as the president has directed and made clear, this is most certainly not open-ended. It doesn't mean it limits our ability to respond. We will respond if necessary. The most powerful military in the world is postured and prepared to defend our people. But what the president gave us, as I said, was a focused, powerful, and clear
focused, powerful,
mission
and clear
of
mission.
Iranian nuclear capabilities. Those were the targets. That's what was struck. That was overwhelming. That's what was overwhelming.
All Iran has to do is be like, yo, let's stop fighting. Let's talk peace.
Last night. He
move
wants
on with
peace.
our
There
lives.
needs to be a negotiated settlement here.
Maybe we take
We
off some
ultimately
sanctions. They
demonstrated
start
that
building back
Iran
their
cannot have a nuclear capability. That is a very clear mission
country,
set
and
on this operation.
everybody just gets along,
Hold on.
right?
Yes, right there.
I doubt that will happen, but ball's in their court. They don't have to retaliate.
Secretary and the chairman.
They don't have to keep
How is
fighting.
the strike
Not going to end well.
with the Israelis on a strategic level, militarily, and on a tactical level? Was there any direct Israeli military participation in this operation?
Well, I would say certainly
Imagine going through this
Israel
as Kamala
had,
was president.
An incredible
Man, we would
military
already be in World
success,
War III.
especially at the beginning and ongoing. In
And we'd still have an open
Iranian
border with people just
capabilities,
walking straight in.
degrading Iranian launchers, MRBMs.
Just
It's been
walking
incredible to
straight
watch
in.
What our ally Israel has been able to do. And there certainly have been conversations. I mean, General Kurilla at CENTCOM has worked closely in the defense of Israel for many years. And part of this operation was the defense of Israel and the ongoing defense of Israel. But
Joyce
as it
says
pertains
Obama
to
gave
this
Iran
strike,
money and Hillary
this was
gave
US
Iran
operated,
uranium.
We
Trump
took
gave Iran
advantage of some of the preparatory work
15
that's been done over the
Moabs,
past, week and a
15
half,
bunker
in terms of
busters.
axis of approach. I
That's
won't
what
get
Trump
into
gave
the
Iran.
particulars, but as the secretary said, it was a U.S. strike. We made sure we were not in the same piece of airspace and sky. Aside from that, that was the extent of it.
We'll take a couple more. Yeah, right there.
Question to the Secretary first. Are you concerned whatsoever now about the reaction from U.S. allies given the strike, particularly those in the Gulf? And to the Chairman, if I may, I understand you don't want to speak to specific.
Middleman says 15 mostly peaceful bunker busters. Yeah, mostly peaceful.
Any further
They were
assets
mostly
from other
peaceful
theaters
airstrikes,
to
guys.
enforce protection over the
Mostly
coming days?
peaceful.
We certainly understand the challenges of allies in the region, and we have been respectful and in working in collaboration with them.
Thanks, Kevin, for
as it
popping in,
pertains
man.
to basing and sensitivities there. Ultimately, they've got a lot
If
of
you guys,
assets
if you
in
guys
those
haven't already,
locations also
drop a
where
comment down
American
below.
troops are
Just become a
located. So
subscriber. You
that's
can drop a comment.
Consideration of ours. We've been in close consultation with them, and we appreciate the support that we have got.
Thanks for the question on sort of the global picture. And as you know, that's one of my jobs is to look globally at the entire range of challenges. We are always carefully considering our force posture around the world and then offering options to the Secretary and to the President. I won't comment on any future things, but the American people should know that we carefully consider those moves around the world and try to modulate as needed.
Yeah, Kevin, have a good night,
our
man.
Force structure in the region.
Absolutely. Yeah, right here.
Thank you.
We're going to check in on the poll. 545 people have voted. It's still 40% say yes, Trump just started World War III, and 6% say no. So it's still 40-60.
And private messages being directly delivered
Out
to
of
the Iranians
out of
multiple channels,
545
giving them every
votes.
opportunity to come to the table. They understand precisely what the American position is, precisely what steps they can take to allow for peace, and we hope they do so.
Okay, so we're going to end that poll.
Yes.
The president may not want an open-ended conflict. The Iranians may disagree. Are you prepared for a protracted war?
Well, anything can happen in conflict. We acknowledge that. But the scope of this was intentionally limited. That's the message that we're sending. With the capabilities of the American military, nearly unlimited. So Iran, in that sense, has a choice.
Okay, guys, new question. I just asked everybody in the chat, does the USA have the best military in the world? You guys can vote. Let me know what you think.
Clear to them. This is nuclear sites. This is nuclear capabilities. This is the line that the president set, and we set that back. Now is the time.
We drew a line in the sand and said, you guys cannot have nukes.
I think one of the takeaways from
No,
this as well is the
no other
unprecedented
option. You
level of
can't have
ongoing
nukes.
Cooperation. I can't speak highly enough of the chairman.
And then when they didn't agree
and
to
his
that,
staff,
well,
and General Kurilla,
saw what happened.
CENTCOM, what they've done to look around the corner, to pre-position, to understand how an operation like this comes together. The scope and scale of what occurred last night would take the breath away of almost any American if you had an opportunity to watch it in real
I'm going to check Twitter real
and I
quick, see if
think
there's anything
Iran
happening.
is certainly calculating the reality that planes flew from the middle of America in Missouri overnight, completely undetected over 3 of their most highly sensitive sites, and we were able to destroy nuclear capabilities. And our boys in those bombers are on their way home right now. We believe that'll have a clear psychological impact on how they view the future, and we certainly hope they take the path of negotiated peace. But I could not be more
I
proud.
don't see really anything
how
happening
this
on
building
X.
operated, of the precision, the sensitivity, and the professionalism of the troops involved in this effort. I will take one more. We'll take one more question. Yes, right there.
Thank you.
So Pete Hegseth, this guy you're seeing on screen, he just posted on Twitter. Well, actually, that was 16 hours ago. He said, many presidents have dreamed of delivering the final blow to Iran's nuclear program, and none could until President Trump. That's what he posted 16 hours ago. So I guess this morning he posted that.
Mr. Secretary, concerning the justification for these strikes, in March, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released their threat assessment, concluding, quote, Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear programs he suspended in 2003, unquote. So what new intelligence does the U.S. have since then that the Iranians have changed their position on nuclear weapons? And does this new intelligence come from U.S. sources and methods, or are we
Hey,
getting this
Sandra, thanks for
information
popping in. Sandra's also a vet, and thank you for your service, Sandra. Also, shout out, again, thank you, Sandra, for becoming a member on the channel. Thank you for hitting the join button, clicking the link in the chat, becoming a member, helping support me, keeping the lights on, my internet going.
This precision operation to neutralize that threat in order to advance American national interests, reduce the Iranian nuclear program, and obviously collective self-defense of ourselves and our allies. So he looked at all of it, understood the nature of the threat, and took bold action I think the American people would expect in a commander-in-chief.
Bold action.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Chairman.
So that was the press conference that happened earlier this morning. Let's go back to live news and see if there's anything new happening. Anything that we missed? Let me see here. This was an hour ago. State Department issues worldwide caution alert for American citizens after U.S. strike. Let's watch this one real quick. This was posted 3 hours ago.
Here too, live now from Fox. I'm Eddie Mack. Almost exactly 24 hours ago, we were watching it unfold as the United States striking several nuclear sites in Iran, and of course, Iran vowing to respond.
I got my machete under my bed, guys.
That to come down.
I got my machete. Nobody better try anything in my
Department
house,
this
okay?
A worldwide caution saying the
Nobody
conflict
better
between
try
Israel
nothing.
and Iran has resulted in
I got my
disruptions to
machete,
travel and periodic closures
bottles of
of
pepper
airspace
spray.
across the Mideast. There is a potential for demonstrations against U.S. citizens and interests abroad. The United States Department advises U.S. citizens worldwide to exercise increased caution. Please read the
Sandra
travel
just
advisory
donated
carefully. Country
$3.
information,
Thank
any
you,
recent
Sandra,
security
for the
alerts when
$3
planning
super
to
chat.
travel abroad. So, of course, we're monitoring that.
This
here
is
live now from
Sandra's
Fox. This comes
third
back to
super
the
chat on a live
unprecedented
stream.
attack as
Nice.
U.S. pilot dropped some 30,000.
Shout out. Thank you so much, Sandra. You are amazing, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out, shout out. So, yeah, this was from the Travel State Department. If you didn't hear what the guy just said, he said, worldwide caution, the conflict between Israel and Iran has resulted in disruptions to travel and periodic closures of airspace across the Middle East. There is potential for demonstrations against U.S. citizens and interest abroad. The Department of State advises U.S. So basically, yeah, just stay alert. They're, I guess, rerouting certain flights over the Middle East because of possible counterattacks from Iran, stuff like that. So, you know, they're just kind of being precautionary. But yeah, they put that out, I guess, 3 hours ago.
Pound bombs early Sunday on two key
Thank you again, Sandra, for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Plants in Iran, delivering what American military leaders believed is a knockout blow to a nuclear program that Israel views as an existential threat and has been pummeling for more than a week. So we're monitoring it here on live now from Fox, concerned about bases in that region, concerned about things happening here in the United States. We're hearing from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem talking about that, on heightened alert of any retaliation by Iran after these most recent attacks. So,
Okay, so that was that. Let's see what else is new. Let's tune into Agenda Free TV. Is he live right now? He might not be live right now. Maybe he stopped streaming. Jeebus, how's everybody doing today? Thank you, Jeebus, for the $2 super chat. How you doing, man? We're doing all right. We just trying to catch up with what's been going on today in the news. So we're just kind of watching different videos and whatnot. Let's see here. Concerns over U.S. troops across the Middle East. ABC World News. Oil prices expected to rise after strikes. So gas price is probably going to go up, guys.
The market is now a major point.
But it's like, yo, Iran getting nukes or a little bit higher gas prices. I'll take the little bit higher gas prices. Yeah, I'll take that over Iran having nukes.
Focus after the U.S. struck 3 of Iran's nuclear sites. Experts say the spike in oil price would certainly depend on how Iran chooses to retaliate. Robert McNally, the founder and president of Rapidan Energy Group, joins me now for more on this. Robert, Iranian state media is now reporting that Iran will close the Strait of Hormuz. That seems to be extremely consequential, at least for the conversation that we are having.
Right, and good to be with you, Phil.
So they are closing that strait, that waterway. They're closing that, I guess.
Disrupt shipping in the Strait of Hormuz would have to be made by the supreme leader, and I think he'll be cautious about doing that. Iran exports all of its oil through the Strait of Hormuz, and attempting to close the strait would invite full retaliation from the United States and our allies. Now, they have the means to do it. They could disrupt flow from the strait for weeks, I believe, if they do it. But I think they're going to be cautious, and I would not bet the farm on this Parliament's action today.
When do you think we would see the impact of oil prices here in America if something like that happened?
Almost instantly. If gasoline station owners saw crude
I need to fill up my tank, guys. My gas is like, I got like a quarter tank. I need to fill that up before things skyrocket. Thanks, Mike, for popping in, man. Yeah, for sure, man. Hopefully we'll see you around, man. I will be streaming tomorrow night too, so if you happen to be on, tune in.
You say tick up. I'm wondering.
Thanks for popping in, Mike.
Worst case scenario.
If you guys are watching for the first time, consider becoming a subscriber. If you hit subscribe and stick around for a minute, you guys can drop a comment down below. Give us some of your opinions and thoughts.
2019. It's even worse than Hormuz if they destroy.
And to all the people that have already subscribed or became channel members, like Sandra and Jeebus in the chat, thank you guys again. And if you've liked the video, appreciate you. How many likes do we have already? Let me check real quick. We have, dang, we got 64 likes, guys. Dang, that's a lot of likes. Thank you guys for smashing that like button.
Parts of the United States, particularly the coasts, California, pump prices would be much higher.
Big spike.
Yeah, we are talking worst case. Want to let our viewers know that. And I just want to add one question on top of that is difficult because, if that was the worst case scenario and prices headed up in that direction.
I am Groot says, bedtime, got to work early. Have a great night, everyone. Be back tomorrow. Thanks, man. I hope you have a great sleep. And, yeah, good luck with work, man. Today's my Friday, so I can, I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
I think it's going to be very cautious.
My parents are actually taking me out to dinner tomorrow just to kind of chit-chat and shoot the breeze, catch up on things. So that's going to be fun.
Consumers and businesses start to
Dapper Sapper says, any crazy happening in the news today? We're kind of looking.
Will then help oil prices.
We're kind of catching up on things going on.
Good way for oil prices to fall by breaking the back of the economy. So I don't think it.
Prices are expected to go up. What else we got here? Let's search for. Where's news? What is that? What's Newsmax saying? What's Newsmax saying these days? Not much there. So let's go back to CNN. CNN. 2 days ago. Man, they don't really update their YouTube that often, do they? CNN takes shelter in bunker.
Of these strikes, and the fact that the death toll is only 24 as of now in Israel is indeed a credit to all those systems.
Excuse me.
So we are awaiting what will be the red alert, which is the final minute and a half warning before any kind of an impact.
They were on the roof, right? They were on the roof. Anderson Cooper and whoever he's with, I guess, a fellow reporter.
And the fact that
They were up on the roof, and then sirens started going off, and then they had to disconnect their mics, and then they had to kind of go down in an elevator, and now they're like down, I guess, in a bunker. They kind of walked down a hallway, and now they're in a bunker, just waiting for the bombs to hit.
Barrages, but quite high intensity, particularly this morning. I mean, Jeremy, you were there on the scene. The damage was...
Yeah, I mean, there's also been reports that the Iranians have been using different types of ballistic missiles, some reports of cluster munitions.
Sanders says China's really going to be hurting because 40% of their oil comes through the Hormuz Strait.
In the north of Tel Aviv, in Ramat Aviv.
Yeah, thanks for popping in, Shadow.
Where you saw a residential block that was almost, completely obliterated by the power of that blast.
You guys got to press down in the basement, please.
The damage is enormous. More of these ballistic missiles that are indeed getting
at any moment, of course, hoping that they are safe as this is continuing. Now,
with rockets from
yeah, they're down there. I guess that's what kind of a bomb shelter looks like.
There's been a lot of questions about what
I think it's maybe just the basement of the
obviously these missiles are one form of response
of the hotel they're in. I don't know. I don't know if like every hotel in Israel has like a basement or something, kind of shelter.
Who's going to be making that decision?
I'm not sure, but it looked like they were just like in a normal hotel.
Or what have you.
And Iran's foreign minister said today, basically, that...
Let me read some chat. Life of Riley says, why do people look at news some half-wit has wrote? Go to the official website for public statements wrote by people who are paid to. And oil is bullcrap. Iran pour their oil away. We don't. Hamster says, Iran is playing with really hot fire right now. I agree, Hamster. I agree, man. I think in their eyes, they kind of have to retaliate or they're going to look really... I mean, they already look weak. But if they want to keep control of their people and their government, they're probably going to have to retaliate or if they just take it laying down, they're probably going to have to do something. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy because Trump ain't afraid to call the bombers back, like round 2. Terry says the middle of nowhere is perfect. The middle of 100 acres in Alabama. Got to have 4-wheel drive to get to my house. Nice.
That it won't be the government who's making that decision. It will be the military that will make that decision. And they have...
What kind of internet you got out there, Terry? Do you use Starlink or like satellite internet?
With a terror attack, for example, or kidnapping or some kind of a cyber attack. But again, I mean, I mentioned it upstairs, but in the melee, I think it's worth reiterating this idea.
Here's Sky News Australia. What are they saying?
The United States and
explosive tensions after Iran threatens to unleash sleeper cells following attacks on nuclear sites.
People are on high alert today after Iran made a chilling threat to unleash sleeper cells in retaliation to
I think that's what people are most afraid about is just like people that are already in America. Because Biden let in 20 million people, so there's a lot of people in America that maybe don't want to do great things. So I think that's what people are kind of worried about. Luckily, Trump has the border closed now, so no new people are coming in illegally, or very few, but it's like the 20 million that Biden let in. Most of those people are probably just great people, right? But there could have been some bad people coming through there too. So that's kind of what people are worried about at the moment.
Iran then doubled down.
So all the major cities are kind of on high alert. So they've increased their law enforcement presence at places like churches and whatnot around the cities.
Nuclear facilities constitutes not only a flagrant breach of the UN Charter,
Oh, Verizon fiber optics about a mile away. Nice. Oh, nice.
Under Article 2,
I have a
4,
T-Mobile internet.
And the obligation to respect the state's territorial integrity.
Yeah, there's sleeper cells all over UK, US, France, Spain, Sweden, etc. Yeah.
Of UN Security Council Resolution 2231.
I mean, all it takes is some crazy person that's been radicalized because they've been watching too much TikTok, right?
Of a devastating blow
it could just be some crazy person who thinks like, oh, they have to do something because they think they're part of
non-proliferation regime.
You know, it's pretty. I feel like TikTok, just the internet in general. If you stay on the internet long enough, go down all the rabbit holes, you can get radicalized pretty quick. So it could also be just some lone wolves trying to like
International Atomic Energy Agency
get their 15 minutes of fame.
International bodies of their duty and responsibility to take urgent and decisive action in response to this breach of international law. Silence in the face of such blatant aggression will plunge the world into an unprecedented level of danger and chaos.
NBC went on to reveal that
if
Trump
sleeper
was
cells
aware of
open
the
up in
threat of
America, they
sleeper
should
cell
just let
activation
rednecks and
before the
vets.
strikes on Iran, but continued anyway. They said Iran sent a communique to Trump in the days before last night's strike on its nuclear facility.
Sandra says, haven't heard, but I don't think the Olympics will be happening if they can't get things under control in LA. I don't think Gavin Newsom has ever had things under control in LA. Even on a good day, I don't think Gavin Newsom knows what he's doing. And I don't know why they would be having the Olympics there. Like, out of all the states you could pick, you pick California. It just seems like a recipe for disaster, especially with all the protests going on. I mean, I guess they picked that long before these protests started. But still, it's like, pick a different city, guys. Pick a different, go do it in Texas, okay? Go have the Olympics in Texas.
Threatening to activate sleeper cell terror inside the United States if it were attacked. The message got to Trump through an intermediary at the
This live stream has had over 30,000 people pop in, guys. That's crazy. And we have 66 thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys, if you're enjoying the live stream. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're a subscriber, you can drop a comment down below. Just got to be a subscriber for a minute or longer. That kind of helps weed out all the trolls.
With the president only reacting with more strength and stronger
So appreciate it if you're a subscriber.
He said, any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater.
Also, guys, I asked the question, does the USA have the best military in the world? 38 people have voted so far in chat. 87% say yes, and 13% say no. So the people that voted no, who has a better military than the US? I'm just curious. Who has a better military than US? I know we spend more than any other country on military. We probably have the best equipment, right?
And despite Trump's tough talking, many Americans are frightened at the threat of sleeper cell activation, which Tom Homan brutally blames on Joe Biden.
Can you assess that issue particularly? How many Iranians are in the country that are in sleeper cells trying to
How you doing, Webster?
do bad to America right now?
Well, look, you and I have talked about this many times. I said the last 4 years, my biggest concern was this open border.
We have the most
biggest
advanced
national
military for sure.
security vulnerability this country's ever seen. So I pulled numbers this morning just from a CBP under Joe Biden. There was 1,272 nationals of Iran released in the country between OFO and the Border Patrol. And you compare that to the Trump administration, zero. Right, zero releases. And right now, because of President Trump's leadership, we have the most secure.
Webster says, did you hear about the news of Putin negotiating giving Iran weapons? I heard something about some countries like saying they might decide to give Iran nukes or something like that. I don't know if they're just like blowing smoke up people's butt, but yeah, I don't know. We have the best, not the biggest, as far as number of personnel. Whiston says, I'm posturing. Yeah, for sure. Dapper Sapper says, hi. How you doing, Dapper Sapper? Welcome back to the stream, man. Appreciate the hearts and the emojis in the chat, guys. Also, shout out to everybody that sent a super chat. I believe Jeebus sent a super chat. Sandra sent a super chat. Miss Nightmare sent a super chat. So appreciate you guys. Hoping keep the lights on and the internet going. I just bought a giant what do you call it? A giant projector screen. I don't have a projector, but you know, it's one of those like giant white screens that you kind of pull down. I bought that from the thrift store I work at. It was like 17 bucks. So now I have like this giant projector screen in my living room. I'm sitting in my living room right now. I moved the setup for that was in my kitchen. I moved that into my living room. And then I put the projector screen behind me. So it's like a giant white screen. And then I put my green screen over it and put some clothespins on it. So that's why I can put whatever I want back there. I have the same setup kind of in my my other bedroom, but I have like a smaller projector screen. I need to get another green screen blanket though, because I had to take the blanket off there to put on this one. But now I don't have one on that one. So I need to buy another green screen blanket. I got to check how much those are because I can't remember. But yeah, so I just got this giant projector screen in my living room right now. If I ever have company, they're going to be like, what the heck is this guy doing? Like, what the heck does this guy do in his spare time? You can turn your phone into a projector? Whipster says, if Putin or an ally of Russia gives Iran weapons, the U.S. will retaliate. Then Russia will retaliate towards the U.S. and China will get involved. The domino effect will be really bad. I don't think anybody's going to be giving Iran. I mean, they might say it, but I don't think they are. What country would they like to survive? An educational country full of resources, or a dusty crap hole full of mob mentality? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, though.
Border in my lifetime, most secure border in the history of this nation. So we have a secure border. So that was President Trump's big win on securing this nation. So we're not releasing people in this country. Special interest aliens aren't crossing that border undetected.
I'm going to check to see how much a green screen is.
10 million people cross that border. But my biggest concern from day one, beyond the fentanyl, beyond the sex trafficking women and children, were the 2 million known gotaways. Over 2 million people crossed that border.
Oh, also, Trump posted the damage to the nuclear sites in Iran is said to be monumental. The hits were hard and accurate. Great skills were shown by our military. Thank you. That's what Trump said 8 hours ago. Somebody posted Iran could shut off the world's oil supply. The Strait of Hormuz is a tiny waterway with massive power. Up to 20 million barrels of oil pass through this strait every day. Roughly 1/5 of the world's oil passes through there. If Iran shuts it down, gas prices could skyrocket and global trade could take a hit. They've threatened it before, but never actually did it. Jeebus with a $5 super chat. Jeebus says, love you guys, but I'm getting off. Not really in the mood for all this tonight. Well, thanks for popping in, Jeebus. I appreciate you, man. And yeah, definitely, it's definitely stressful. I like to know what's going on, but I feel you, man. Sometimes you just got to turn off the internet, put on some Netflix or something, read a book. Even though all this is going on the other side of the world, I feel like we're not really going to notice too much. But thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you, man. I hope you have a fantastic night.
Because they got away, because Border Patrol is so overwhelmed with the humanitarian crisis that Biden created, that over 2 million people crossed the border and got away. That is my biggest concern, and that's what created the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen.
Commentator Valentina Gomez agreed.
Joe Biden and his administration allowed thousands
Play
of
some video games? I could play some video games, guys. Let me open up let me see here. Let me open up Steam. I don't have too many video games on this computer because this is like my my lower end computer. I think what do I have installed over here? Let's see. What do I have installed? I got Rage. Rage might be the only game I have installed right now. It might be the only game I have installed right now. I'm gonna plug in my controller real quick. I got my Xbox One controller. I think you can sync this up with Bluetooth somehow, but I'm not sure how you do it, and I don't know if this computer has Bluetooth. But I know there's a way to sync up the Xbox controllers. This also doesn't have a battery in it. Sandra says download Plague challenging. Huh. Okay, let me pull up Rage. Maybe I'll be better with the controller. I don't know. I tried playing this with the keyboard and mouse, but I kind of suck. I kind of suck with the keyboard and mouse, guys. I mean, I kind of suck in general, but especially with the keyboard and mouse. At least for this game. I'm decent with other games like Fortnite, I'm okay, but this game's got like, it's got a lot of different weapons and stuff and abilities you can have. Have I played Crossout? It sounds familiar. I don't know if I played it though. Rainbow Six Siege. I'm not particularly good at squad-based shooters. I'm not that great at those. Why is it not popping up? Maybe I have to go to settings. Gamepad. Here we go. Disabled. I have a gamepad. Enabled. There we go. Vibration, sensitivity. Maybe we turn it down a smidge. And then turn this down a smidge because it's probably going to be a little bit too, whatchamacallit. That might work. Okay. All right, so let's go to campaign. Continue campaign. Gonna play some Dead Island 2. How is Dead Island 2, man?
Hello.
Okay, maybe this is way too low. I think maybe I turned my sensitivity down way too low. Okay, I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more. Hold up. Let me turn it up a little bit. Gamepad. Turn it up a little bit. There we go. I think that'll work. That's a little bit better. Okay, so how do I open up... Here we go. Use your racing certificate at Rusty's to buy some buggy weapons. Okay, so let me go to the weapons guy. I think he's back over here. Good at squad-based games due to my time in the service. Nice.
Hello.
Okay, let's go talk to what's-his-face. I gotta find where he's at. He's the guy who you buy the parts from. Where is that guy? He's around here somewhere. You like it? So it's pretty good? Have you played the first one? I played a little bit of Dead Island 1 and Dead Island Riptide. But yeah, I haven't checked out the second one. I heard it's decent though. I know it took them a long time to make. But I heard it was pretty decent. Okay, am I just stupid? I think I talked to this guy.
Look no further than here for all your vehicle needs.
Okay, let's talk to you.
Anything you like?
I already did that.
Nice doing business with you.
Okay, now I actually gotta go drive my vehicle, I think.
Racing is the one thing people still got that's
Racing.
entertaining. You win some races and people around town will
Rage
look
2.
more
I also have
favorable
Rage 2,
towards
but I wanted to beat Rage 1 before I start playing Rage 2. I like to play things in order. You own all the Dead Islands? I'm gonna have to play Dead Island one of these nights. Whipster, you make a good point, man. Wait, am I supposed to talk to him?
We've always got exciting events open. Go talk with Slim in the booth.
Okay, let me talk to Slim. Slim,
Interested in winning some racing certificates?
let's earn some racing certificates. Let's go with place first after 3 laps of minigun combat racing to take home gold. Ooh, minigun combat racing. Can I do this yet? Oh, I have to get a minigun. I don't have a minigun.
Say.
No minigun. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try playing Dead Island again. I used to play games like SWG, Repopulation, Mech Warrior. I think I played Mech Warrior a little bit, like back on, like the original Mech Warrior, but it never ran very well on my computer. It was like Mech Warrior 3 or something. Okay, let's go, boys. Where's the boost button? Oh, here we go. Whoa, whoa. Let's go, boys. I think I'm going the right way. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Don't I have, like, I know I got, like, bombs or something, right? How do I put bombs down? I think did I just drop one? How do I drop a mine? Oh, there we go. It's the shoulder button. Watch this, watch this. Boom, I think I hit him. Whoa. Get out of the way. Whoa. I'm gonna lose. It's a really good looking game though. Even though it's kind of older now, it's still a really good looking game. Like, because of this art style, it kind of just ages really well. Kind of like cel shaded graphics. I think I'm winning. Come on, buddy. I think this is the last lap. And booyah. Pretty sure I just won. Mech Warrior took a lot of memory. The other thing is, with the way things are escalating, this could actually happen in the next few years. Yeah, but you know, you kind of just have to hope for the best, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I'm not too worried. I doubt it's going to get that crazy. You know, everybody thinks the world's going to end. Like every other year. Out of memory, lower your video settings and restart the game. Dang it. Come on, bro. Okay, let me see here. It says lower my video settings. Okay. It says out of memory. Okay, so let me just turn that down. VSync, texture cache, small. Texture details. I need a restart for that. Atmospheric filtering. Let's do, they're just high and low. Okay. Keep changes. Okay. Maybe that will help. And save game. Select. Yes. It says I'm out of memory. I got 32 gigs of memory in this. Unless that's why they donated it. Okay, let's see. I mean, it still looks good even with the settings lowered. Okay, so use your racing certificate at Rusty's to buy some buggy weapons. I could just want to get some weapons for your buggy. I did that. I already did that. And then search the ghost hideout for signs of the kidnapped citizen. Let's make that my main quest.
Parts for sale here.
Return to the ghost hideout. How do I hop into my truck?
Look no further than here for all your vehicle needs.
Can I,
See anything you like?
vehicle supplies. Oh, these are guns. Okay. I'm gonna buy some miniguns. Yeah. Rocket launchers. Wait, what is this? Those bandits don't have a chance when you're packing rockets. How much money do I have? Oh, you know what? I kind of want to buy more performance tires, sports suspension, standard spikes. Yo, buggy tires, but now they're spikes. I want to have rocket launchers too. Okay, let me go to my weapons. I'm going to put, you can only have miniguns. You can't have them both on at the same time. I'm going to put my miniguns on. Yeah, miniguns and tires. We just have normal. And that's cool that you can just upgrade your car like that. Okay, cool.
See you soon.
Return to Sheriff Black. Okay, let me go talk to the sheriff again real quick. Putin doesn't want to provide the U.S. he needs, provoke the U.S. He needs weaponry. He has his efforts in Ukraine. Yeah, he's got his hands full with Ukraine right now. You're right. Okay, let me talk to the sheriff.
Pardon?
I think he's up here. Now there's a big sign somewhere that says sheriff. Oh, here it is. Let me go talk to the sheriff. Yeah? Where's he at? How you doing, man?
Good job. Those guns should keep you safe. Enough. Go ahead and grab the supplies now and just blow anyone away that tries to stop you.
Okay. So we got some supplies. Right back west of the hangar settlement. All right. So now we got to go get back into my car. I'm not sure how I get back into my car. Do I talk to the guy I was talking to before?
Excuse me.
Or can I just walk out of the city and it'll just put me in my car? Or how does that work?
Attention all citizens.
Is it this guy? Nope.
As you are well aware,
No. I want to go to my garage. How do I get to my garage, guys? How do I get to my garage? Oh, wait, here it is. Talk with Sally at the bar for a lucrative opportunity. Okay, where's Sally? Is she in here?
You're a mighty fine driver there. Reminds me of myself when I was your age.
Chet, thanks for popping in, man. Always a pleasure. Whipster says, if we set off a chain of reactions of military responses, alliances that could quickly escalate into global conflict. True. You guys just popping in. We are talking politics, playing a game called Rage. We were watching the news, but that was kind of stressing everybody out, so we're just playing some video games to blow off some steam. Okay, I think I'm supposed to... Oh, there we are. Yeah, we're going to hop into my car. Assign items. Yeah, okay, we got everything. We got everything in there. Repair. Cancel and... Okay. Wasteland or Well Springs? We're supposed to go back to the Well Springs? Oh, I see. Okay, you have to do it this way. We want to go to the Wasteland. There we go. Whipster says, we are though because there's already been talk about Putin negotiating. Out of memory, lower your video settings and restart the game. Oh, does it not take effect if I don't restart? Okay, so we have to go which direction? Because I could have swore we, the missing persons thing. Yeah, set active. Okay, so let's go this way. I'm not sure how I shoot things. Does it just automatically shoot? Oh, crap. It might just automatically shoot. I'm not sure. Bandits control this area of the wasteland. Wipe them out for an immediate reward. Nice. Oh, crap. Okay, how do I shoot, guys? Oh, crap. No, 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 no. Oh, get in my car. Get in my car. How do I shoot, guys? How do I shoot? Oh, I shoot with the A button. Okay. Yo! Nice. Nice. Let me just take these guys out real quick. You're not getting away from me, buddy. Got him. Oh. My car's smoking a little bit. I like the car combat, guys. It's pretty dope. Talk about war rumors, and war rumors spread more quickly. Okay, this is a nice looking game, guys. I know I've said that multiple times. This is a nice looking game. Okay, I think we're supposed to get out. How do I change my weapons? I'm gonna put combat shotgun. Going with the combat shotgun. What is this? Oh, that was some money? I could steal parking meter money? Okay, so I guess I have to go down here. It's not really rumors, it's sets of affairs that could happen. If Russia supplies Iran and we destroy their supplies, they're gonna be mad at us and retaliate. It could happen. I mean, a lot could happen. Out of memory, lower your settings. Okay. Find the missing person. I thought we did this already. Didn't we do this? Maybe not. You're gone. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Back up, bro. How do bandits keep coming into this place? I'm gonna equip my pistol. Okay. Oh, here we go. I see it. You're dead. You're gonna die too, buddy. Headshot. You're dead. Over there. There he is. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. You know what? Shotty time. Shotty time. Oh crap. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, oh, oh. Back up, back up. How do I don't have the boomerangs. Oh yeah, I gotta loot these guys. I forgot you could loot the guys. They probably got ammo, right? Forgot about that. So we're looking for the missing person. Game has really good music. Oh, we found the missing person. Okay, that's him, I guess. Nice statue. Okay, so now we have to drive back to the West Hangar settlement. Okay. We got to get back out of here. Oh, crap. Scared me, bro. You scared me, bro. Yeah, scared me. Is it this way? Oh, that person's toast. It gives me a chance to loot all these bodies that I forgot. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Do I have any more, Okay, let me loot this guy's body. Supposed to be like a zip line or something, isn't there? Oh, crap. Got him. Okay, which way's the exit, guys? Which way's the exit? I think it's over here. Get me out of here. Middleman says exactly. Iran has been boasting its nuclear program and threatening the U.S., Israel, and others while doing it. They've been daring people to respond. Instead, countries that sent money to Iran and yep. Yeah, they're like, we dare you to take them away, and then Trump does it, and everyone's like, what? Did Trump actually do what they dared him to do? Wow. Okay, let me turn this puppy around. Okay, let's go back. Might be bandits along the way. Hey, cool. We just got some type of achievement. Beginner jump. This game's legit, guys. Wait. I think I'm supposed to go in this place. Let me just park my car right here. Let me go talk to... Vehicle quick use icons let the shield can mean the difference between life and death in the wasteland. Visit the vendor to load up on supplies. Okay, let's visit this guy, I guess.
Well, good to see you again, friend. Almost gave you up for lost. And I see you ditched that arc suit. Why, you could almost pass as one of us. Did old Clayton come through?
I really don't think Putin would be that stupid, or do we underestimate him? Overestimate him? I don't think he's gonna.
I know you took some chances getting these back to me.
He's already involved in one war. I feel like he doesn't have the resources to get involved with something else.
Pay back any favors. So I want you to have my pride and joy. The Desert Striker crossbow.
Oh, look at this.
Bow. It has twice the punch, and no one will hear you use it.
Nice. We got a crossbow now, guys.
Now for the bad news. We've
Yo.
seen some authority patrols not far from here. They must have heard there's an Ark survivor somewhere. You best get back to Wellspring until things quiet down. And good luck, my friend.
Thank you, man. Whipster says, Metal, he wants to take over the world. This could be a tactical ploy to initiate World War III if he thinks he could win with China's support. Sanders says, Whipster's exactly, but there's nothing to be gained by worrying about what may or may not happen. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of out of our hands at the moment. Trump's going to do what Trump wants to do. Putin's going to do what Putin wants to do. It's it's kind of out of our hands. Nobody lives forever. Do I want to buy some ammo, maybe?
Hey, pal. Care to browse my goods?
I'll browse your goods,
what you
man.
looking for?
I could probably use some bandages. Yeah. And armor restore. Nah, let's see if I could sell some items. Half a binocular, the good half. Night blossom. That I can craft with these though. Okay, I'll sell these tools. And I think I'll keep the rest. Yeah.
Hope to do business with you again.
Okay, cool beans. Let's hop back in my Jeep.
Hey there, pal. I see you made it back alive. Don't forget, if you need some repairs and you're close, stop by. I'll fix her right up.
Sanders says Putin knows Trump is not afraid to take decisive action.
Remember, if you need your vehicles repaired, just pull them into the bay and I'll see what I can do.
Okay, let me grab my vehicle. Because it looks a little bit damaged. Let me just pull it into his garage real quick. Repair cost, repair. There we go. Nice. We got some bogeys. Come on, come on. Got him. Anybody else want a piece of me? I'm getting used to this vehicle combat. Kind of getting used to it. Oh, crap. All right. Depends on how crazy Putin is. Basically. Out of memory. We're not out of memory. Okay. Repair. I think we could put the rocket launchers on. Let's put the rocket launchers on. I kind of want to see what those do. Rocket launchers. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to go to Well Springs.
Hey, pal. Mayor Clayton and Sheriff Black been asking about you. You in high demand around here. Remember,
Nice.
if you run out of ammo for the guns on your buggy, you can always buy more from both Coffer and Supplies and Rusty by the racetracks.
Okay, let's go talk to the sheriff again. Talk with Sally at the bar for a lucrative opportunity. Where's the bar? Is this the bar? Where the heck is Sally at the bar, guys? That's the Outfitters. Okay, where's the sheriff at? Sheriff, where you at, man? I think maybe up here? Nope. I know he's close. Oh, here it is. Okay, what's the sheriff got to say?
Good thing. Got a problem, and I believe you might be the man for the job. The North is a dangerous
I'm always the
place
man
for
for the
small
job.
bays like yours. Afraid you're gonna need something with a little more muscle.
Okay.
You need to get your hands on a Caprino. I got supplies I need to run up north, but come back when you have the right wheels, all right? The easiest way to get a Caprino is to win one. Try Jackie Weeks. He can set you up with just the right kind of race.
Okay, cool. So you can win new vehicles and stuff. Nice. Yeah, let's go. Go try to find the bar because there's a lucrative opportunity at the bar, but I don't know where the bar is.
Thank you. Stay safe out there. Bash TV, hell of a thing. Best show in town. All that.
And let me talk to.
Attention! The Dusty 8 sponsored event is now open.
Let me talk to you.
Interested in winning some racing certificates?
I need 15 or more to unlock. Oh, murder mayhem. I want this one. Wait, how do I get those? 15? Oh, you gotta win 15 races or more. Okay, let's try the minigun race. Let's try the minigun race. I feel like I'm decent with some miniguns. Though I did just put my rocket launchers on.
Ladies and gentlemen, bandits and mutants, we've got another exciting.
User provided quick use items to help you win the race. Okay. Let's go, boys. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Can I switch between oh crap. Wrong way. Wrong way. Probably way behind now. How do I use my items again? Oh, that's not good. I'm on fire right now. Got my shield up though. Oh crap. Don't stop, don't stop. Yeah. My ammo's running low. A little laser. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think I won. Which says, well, we'll just have to wait and see whether or not he supplies Iran. If he does, then that's going to be a crap show. To put it mildly. To put it mildly. Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty much right, man. Pretty much right. Putin's a crazy guy. Speak to Jacko. Is this guy Jacko? This guy.
Are you looking for a better set of wheels?
Yes.
Then the Dusty 8 sponsored event is just what you need. This event gives our local business leaders a chance to show what they've got for sale. A little promotion mixed in with all that speed and the mayhem. Win-win, as I say. The best racers win the best cars. You want to race? Then you'll
Yeah, I
need a
want to
sponsor.
race.
I hear the guy that runs that show, Mutant Bash TV or something like that, is looking for a driver.
Oh, so I got to get
Maybe
a
you should talk
sponsor.
with
Okay.
him.
Okay, accept.
You can find his little shack of horrors down by the Southern Highway. Just look for the sign with his face on it.
Okay, get a sponsor from JK Styles.
I got the best vehicle parts anywhere.
From JK Styles. How you doing, girl? Where's the bar? Because it's still saying I got a lucrative
Parts for sale
opportunity
here.
at the bar, but I don't know where the bar is. Ooh, I can make a lock grinder. Adrenaline overdrive. Increase your max health for 60 seconds. Ooh. That sounds. We're gonna wait. Increase your max health for 60 seconds. We'll build one of those. And then we'll build a lock grinder. 2 lock grinders. Okay. Oh, and actually... Oh, yeah, we got that new crossbow. Oh, the mayor wants something as well, so let me talk to the mayor. Let me talk to the mayor. Everybody wants to talk to me. Everybody wants to talk to me, guys. I'm a popular person around here, I guess. That's the sheriff. That's the sheriff, but where's the mayor?
The package delivery service is looking for new drivers.
Oh, it's over here?
Good, you're back. I can use someone with your skills. A little problem up north that I need someone to check out.
Okay.
Bandits been digging in a crater north of here, and rumor has it they're refining pure feltrite. And in their hands, that's dangerous stuff. I'm gonna need you to run up there and take a look. Get me a sample of whatever the bandits are making.
Make sure they're not making nukes. That's right. They better not be making nukes.
You'll have a long drive to get there, through some mighty dangerous areas. So make sure you're well stocked with supplies before you head out.
Okay, okay. Well stocked with supplies. And where's the bar? Is this the bar right over here?
This expansion is vitally important as it will provide much needed space for new businesses. Some of you,
Nope.
unfortunately, will be asked to vacate your living quarters as your
Sally at the bar. Oh, right here.
expansion. All efforts to secure new residents will be made for any of you that are displaced.
Hey, fella. Looking for work?
Yes.
Well, let me give you some advice. Your reputation is everything here. If people don't know you, they don't like you. And you gotta earn their respect. Best way to do that is by making the road safer. Simply stated, destroying bandits.
Ooh, I like
Makes
that.
people like you and brings business into my little bar. So I'll make a deal with you. Every bandit car you destroy in the wasteland, I'll reward you. A little. I'll make money. You make money.
Nice.
We got a deal?
Yeah, we got a deal.
Excellent. I think you're learning how things work.
If I would have
around here.
taken that deal, I would have had like money already because I already took out like 5 cars. This guy looks like he's having a bad day.
Haven't seen you around these parts before. Can you help a man
If
filled
it
with
isn't a
sorrow?
stranger from nowhere, care to try your luck at a game of cards?
So let's play some cards.
So this here is a simple game of cards. It's an easy game to pick up. It can take a lifetime to master. Okay, so here's how we play it. You start with your very own deck of cards. That's right, your deck. And from that deck, you can pick the cards you think will be the best to play. Bit of chance, bit of strategy, but all good fun. No deck? I can sell you a starter deck. Won't be the best damn deck, but at least you'll learn the game and start to figure out that you'll need to find some better cards real quick. Ready to buy that starter deck?
We're gonna hold off for now.
Very unfortunate. Maybe later, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe later, man. Nice little bar they got.
I heard you're the one that's been making the wasteland safer. Good job.
You heard right, man. You heard right. I'm making the wasteland great again.
attractive to outside traders and travelers. Remember that when one of you is successful,
Excuse me.
all of us are successful.
You were great in that race.
I'm making the wasteland great again.
Good luck, friend.
So let me save my game. Okay. Yeah, this is a... Wait. I want to go to settings. Video. Display resolution. Yeah, full screen. Brightness. VSync. Smart. Just do a benchmark. Excellent, good, fair. Sure. Texture cache small, texture details off. Okay. And yes. Because I want to check out the Steam sales, guys. You know I love looking at the Steam sales. You know I love looking at them. So look at the Steam sales. Exit game. Yes. Okay. So let me pop back on to the news real quick. What am I watching right now? Let me go back to home. You guys are still watching, drop some comments down below. Let me check on the poll we got going here. 51 people have voted. Does the U.S. have the best military in the world? 86% say yes, and 14% say no. We got 70 likes on this video. Thank you for the likes, guys. Okay, so let me go to news. Just want to see if there's anything new popping out. Right now, it's monitoring possible Iran sleeper cells. Let's look at this one real quick. Possible sleeper cells.
Immigration enforcement can decrease the likelihood of a terrorist attack in the U.S. It's just one of many reasons it makes sense to know who's coming into the country and
yeah,
why.
having
But
closed borders
for
kind
4
of makes
years,
sense.
The U.S. was flying blind. How vigilant should Americans
Especially
be
now.
stateside?
Now
And
more than
whose
ever.
job is it to make sure terrorist
You want to
cells
come
do
in,
not
come in
emerge
legally.
or activate here?
So we can figure out if
Joined
you're
by
gonna
former Secretary of
help
Homeland
America
Security Chad Wolf
or
and
hurt
former
America.
undercover
It's
CIA
pretty simple. It's pretty
officer
simple.
and Congressman Will Hurd. Welcome to you both, gentlemen. Mr. Secretary, what should Americans expect in the days and weeks to come? What are DHS and the Bureau looking for stateside in terms of something nefarious happening here?
Well, sure. Look, the Department of Homeland Security, along with FBI and the intelligence agencies, are looking for any credible threats, any credible information that
Credible
says something
threats.
is going to occur here in the homeland. Absent that, and DHS has just issued an advisory today saying there is no credible information or threat, but we need to be aware that Iran can obviously strike back. I think the most logical aspect for them to do that is in a cybersecurity attack of some kind. It seems to be not as direct. They often hide behind different threat actors in doing that. And we saw this in 2020 with the death of General Soleimani. So I think that's probably the most logical. There are cells here in the United States, such as Hezbollah and others, that they certainly could activate. I think that's going to be a little bit more aggressive. If they want to de-escalate, then you're likely to see some type of cyber attack.
Will, I want you to put on your CIA hat for a second, even though we served together and it's wonderful to see you again. Can you harmonize the seemingly disparate statements about Iran's nuclear capacity? Was the country close to a nuclear weapon or close to being close? And did it even matter?
Trey, my mother-in-law always reminds me that the Iranian government has been trying to kill or kidnap Americans since 1979. They've killed over 1,000 Americans
Since 1979.
In the last 2 years, they've conducted over 200 attacks on ships in and around the Hormuz Straits. They've attacked hundreds of times our forces in the Middle East. Whether the Iranian government was 1 day, 1 week, 1 year away from having weapons, they have been trying to pursue this for decades. And we took the opportunity to strike when their skies were wide open. We prevented putting a dangerous weapon into a dangerous regime. Now we have to be prepared, not only as Chad was explaining about people in the United States. We got to be worried about do the Iranians try to do something like use drones to attack America, use cruise missiles to attack America? We need to make sure that we have a multi-layered defense. It's not just a golden dome, singular golden domes, in order to protect
Golden Domes,
our
boys.
population. We need to be using the latest and greatest technology like coherent distributed networking that makes things work together like as if they have one brain. This is the kinds of conversations that we need to be having in Washington to make sure that we're prepared.
All right, Chad, immigration is multifactorial. It's rule of law, it's national security, it also border security. Do we have any
Thank you for smashing that thumbs up button, guys.
really
If you're brand new to the channel, consider subscribing.
And with what intentions during the Biden administration? I know that Mike gave us some statistics about the number of Iranian nationals, but I mean, how close to being accurate do you think that is, given the fact that we were sort of flying blind for 4 years?
Yeah, look, the stark reality, Trey, is that we know very little about who crossed that border. The numbers that were shown, obviously, are the ones that we apprehended, right?
Anybody can post a comment, guys. Public chat is turned on. So if you got something to say, feel free to drop it in the comment section. We're just watching different news stories, trying to get caught up with what everybody's saying. Why does it feel like there's someone watching me? Can I get no privacy? Ooh. Why does it feel like someone watching me? Go to news. Let's see what the news is saying. Sleeper cells. Massey says, what's the FBI monitoring you? That's the FBI monitoring you? Yeah, pretty much. Let's see here. Nightly news. Full episode. This was 15 hours ago. ISIS suicide bombing kills 22 in Syria. Oh, that was in Syria. Okay. In Syria. Sleeper cells. Iran tried to call Trump's bluff, and he wasn't bluffing.
All right, Sandra, let's bring into the conversation Florida Republican Congressman Byron Donalds, who's on the House
Byron Donalds.
and Greg Steube, who's on the House Intelligence Committee.
I like Byron.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us. Congressman Donalds, let's start with you. What's your reaction to what happened last night, and what are you thinking about the days ahead?
My reaction is
Massey says,
simple.
watch
The
Arabic
president
news.
has
I
been
don't know
saying
if they
for
have it
quite some
translated.
time He wanted peace. The Ayatollahs were stonewalling, which they've been doing really for 40 years. This is not a new thing. They've been doing that for a long time. And they tried to call the president's bluff. And
You've been here before, right, Massey?
At the end of the day, he's been
Massey
very
NG.
clear
I think you've been here
what's
before,
not
right?
gonna
I think you were
happen
here
with
last night.
weapons. They are a terrorist regime. Everybody knows that. And you simply cannot take that chance. So he told them, let's negotiate or else. They decided not to negotiate, so or else.
Sanders says this is where the F-35 will come in. It has surveillance capabilities and is able to communicate with other aircraft, other branches of the military, naval assets, etc., to coordinate a defense net. Interesting. The F-35? What does the F-35 look like? Let me just look this up real quick. F-35. The Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. Is this it? This is the F-35. Is this like the newest aircraft we have? I thought the Raptor was like the newest. Or is the Raptor kind of old now? Maybe I'm like out of date when it comes to AI mode. The F-35 Lightning II is a family of a single-engine supersonic stealth strike fighters developed by the Lockheed Martin for the U.S. and its allies. It is widely considered one of the most advanced and versatile fighter jets in the world. Key features and capabilities. Stealth technology designed with features to minimize its radar across sections of the RCS, including airframe, shaping, and materials. Advanced sensors and avionics equipped with sophisticated sensors for enhanced situational awareness. Multi-role capabilities capable of performing various missions, including air superiority strike and electronic warfare. Variants available in 3 main variants. Conventional takeoff, short takeoff, and carrier variant for aircraft carriers. Speed and range. Can reach Mach 1.6 and has a range of 1,300 miles with the ability to be refueled in the air. Armament features internal weaponry bays for stealthing and carry external weapons. Wow. This thing is, does it say how much it costs? I'm sure this thing is like, what, $1 billion or something? Like 500 mil, like half a billion? I bet it's like $500 million. Cost? Does it say the cost? The X-Fighter jet program total cost. So this is making the most expensive weaponry system in the U.S. history. This includes both procurement, buying jets, and sustaining operations. The cost of the aircraft itself around $82 million. So approximately each one of these costs $82 million. But the program, I guess, to like maintain it, is $2 trillion. And then per jet, it's like $82 million. Middleman says there was another aircraft that is about to be released as well. I can't remember the name, though. It's black something, I think. New aircraft. New aircraft military? Let's see here. Several new military aircraft are currently in development or have recently entered service. The U.S. Air Force is working on the F-47, a sixth-generation fighter intended to replace the F-22 Raptor. Okay, so the F-22 Raptor is like, it's supposed to replace that. The B-21 radar stealth bomber. Additionally, the Navy is developing the F/A-XX fighter jet. Beyond these, the X-65 is an experimental aircraft focused on active flow control technology. The F-47 is a sixth-generation fighter, the B-21 radar stealth bomber. Navy fighter, notable, okay. Oh, what just happened? I popped up. There we go. Check, check. We still here? Okay. Yeah, a lot of big military jets. What if I type in military drone? You can buy military drones. This one is $4,500. $1,400. You can actually buy these. Huh. Drone military, Amazon. Under $2,500 on sale. Who's spending that much on a drone? You can buy a drone, guys, for $10,000 or for $16 at Walmart. Oh boy. Nancy says, Iran will close the Strait of Hormuz. I don't think it's official since America is telling China to ask if Iran not to do it. Yeah, I heard if they do that, it's gonna really cause oil prices to go up because a lot of oil goes through there. I think it's like 1/3 or 1/5 of the oil goes through that region. I had a couple drones from Amazon, straight garbage. Straight garbage.
Well, what's your thought about the fact that the president really punched the Iranian nuclear program in the nose very hard?
Yeah, what's interesting about this is
got him in the nose very hard, very hard.
And they've killed over 600 of our service members. In Trump's first term, and they took out Soleimani. They took out Soleimani because he was the mastermind behind all of the explosive
200 a barrel? You think so?
Killed, maimed, and injured a lot of our service members in Iraq and Afghanistan, specifically Iraq. So over 600 service members have died as a result of the hands of Iranian proxies. That's not to mention the effect of Hamas and Hezbollah on Israel. Iran is the largest state sponsor of terror. So for the president to make this decision, I think is a very strong fitting of strong strength from the White House that America's not going to put up with you being the state sponsor of terror in the world. The president wants peace, and taking out those nuclear sites will get us peace in the Middle East.
So we're hearing a lot from Democrats saying the president didn't go to Congress. I mean, why would he go to Congress? The operational security around this.
I mean, he
was
didn't.
airtight.
He doesn't
Started
have
telling
to.
all sorts of people in Congress. And
Biden
bound
didn't.
to leak
I mean,
out.
Obama
But
didn't go
it's
to
not just
Congress for
Democrats who are
like
making noise about
what
this. It's
90% of
a
the
couple
stuff he did, right?
Republicans as well. This is Ro Khanna, who tweeted this out.
He's the
Trump struck
commander in
Iran
chief.
without any
He commands the
authorization from
military.
Congress. We need to immediately return to D.C. and vote on Congressman Thomas Massie, Republican from Kentucky, and my War Powers resolution to prevent America from being dragged into another endless Middle East war. Congressman Donalds, do you have any concern that we'll be dragged into another Middle East war?
No, I really don't. Knowing the president, his stance on this, and the team around him, the last thing we want is another long-term engagement like Iraq or Afghanistan. Let's be clear. The reason why those conflicts lasted so long is because previous administrations decided that we were going to inject Western constitutional democracy in Iraq or Afghanistan. That is not what the president is trying to do here, not whatsoever. And I do agree with the fact that they did not come to Congress because let's be clear, members of Congress leak all the time. We have meetings where stuff in meetings get.
Okay, so let me pull up. Let me pull up the store again because that's what I was doing in the first place. I want to see if there's any. Hey, Battlefield's on sale. Shadow Warriors on sale. What world? Nino Kuni. Bus Driver Sim 22. This game looked kind of cool. Gungrave Gore. Hey, Kingdom of Amalur. Thunder Ducky, one of my subscribers, he said this one's really good. I've played it on my Xbox 360, but this is, I guess, the remastered version. Chronos Before the Ashes. And then I just got, Risen 2. I think I have Risen 3. Lawn Mowing Simulator still on sale. Oh, and Grand Theft Auto. I'm thinking about maybe getting Grand Theft Auto 4 because it's the complete edition and it's only $6. But I just got Mortal Shell, which is like a Souls-like game, and I got Thief Simulator as well. But I haven't played either of those. Haven't played either of them. I need to play Among Us one of these nights. Do people still play Among Us? I feel like it's probably still pretty popular, right? Probably. Let me pop back over here. Live news. Live news. ABC. Live from Tel Aviv. Putin's response. We already watched the news conference they had. When was this?
Left him. No, I think it's time that we celebrate. And I sort of have to laugh at these people. Well, you know, you're going to spend a lot of money. A lot of that money is being.
I think that was an old one. He was talking about the military parade, I think. When Bernie Sanders found out about Trump.
This is a statement from Donald Trump, quote, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran," etc.
Bernie doesn't look happy. Bernie don't look happy. What else we got here? Bernie is never happy. The top 1%. We're not going to take money from the millionaires because now I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. We're only going to take it from the billionaires. The top 1%, 1%. Bernie, get over yourself, okay? Don't you own like 3 houses that are like $3 million each? Okay. Aren't you flying on private jets to your little campaign rallies? Flying first class? You're pretty much the 1%, bro. Live press conference. Live from Tel Aviv skyline. Look up the XQ-58 fighter jet companion drone operated by the U.S. Air Force. Okay, let me look this up. Fighter jet. Or it's the fighter drone. Look this up. The XQ-58A Valkyrie is a low-cost, high-performance, unmanned combat aerial vehicle developed by Kratos in partnership with the U.S. Air Force. It is designed to operate as a loyal wingman working alongside manned fighter jets like the F-35. Oh, so it's like a little companion drone. That's kind of interesting. And is capable of carrying out various missions, including reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and potentially even offensive strikes. It is designed to operate as a teammate to a manned aircraft, extending their capabilities and potentially taking on more dangerous missions. Low cost, high performance. The Valkyrie is designed for mass production at a relatively low cost, making it a more affordable option for augmenting the Air Force fighter fleet. Stealthy design. It incorporates features like trapezoid, fuselage, V-tail, S-shaped air intake to reduce radar signature. Versatile payload. An integrated AI, different launch and recovery methods. Formatted for flights, advanced battle management system. It's got to be pretty fast, right? This video demonstrates a test flight of the Kratos. Okay, let me hit the play button. A little test flight. How you doing, Elias? Hi, brother. MAGA. Latinos for Trump. How you doing, man? Welcome back, Elias. So is this what the drone looks like? I didn't think the drone would be that big. So that's what the drone looks like? Huh. I take it the wings aren't on it. I thought they were doing like a test flight. This is what it looks like from the cockpit. Is that it right there? Oh, that's it right there.
Yeah, that's real sexy.
I thought it was gonna be like, I think of a drone and I think of like, a little drone thing. I didn't. That thing looks like an actual jet. Very interesting. How did I? Wait, where was I just looking at that at? MAGA. Interesting. Oh, that's the launcher for it? Oh, okay. Okay, what are these guys talking about? I don't really care. I don't really care what they're talking about. Except Trump to open regime change in Iran. Trump open to regime change in Iran. I think he's saying that so their supreme leader gets in line and stop threatening the U.S. and retaliation.
Heightened threat
threat environment in the United States after the attack against Iran's nuclear facilities. In a bulletin issued today, DHS warning low-level cyber attacks against U.S. networks are likely. It comes as the Pentagon is sharing new information about
The
the
Air
attack
Force
on
has ordered
Iran.
2,000 of
ABC's
them.
Perry Russell in
Nice.
Washington.
Tonight, the B-2 bombers arriving back at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. Our affiliate KMBC recording this video of the plane's landing after carrying out the attack against Iran.
It took a great deal of precision. It involved misdirection and the highest of operational security.
The Pentagon detailing the attack called Operation Midnight Hammer. 125
Midnight Hammer.
aircraft involved with 75 precision-guided weapons. About a dozen B-2 bombers taking off from Missouri early Saturday morning. About half of them a decoy group heading west toward Guam with trackable movements. A short time later, 7 more B-2s taking off, but this time heading east, directly toward Iran, with no transponders and minimal communications. The attack focusing on 3 targets, all Iranian nuclear sites.
But initial battle damage assessments indicate that all 3 sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction.
New satellite imagery shows the aftermath of the attack. It includes these apparent holes at the underground Fordo nuclear plant, where the 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs were dropped, digging deep into the ground before exploding.
We know that the president was happy with
it. Dang.
So if the Iranians don't hit back at the U.S. or its allies, this could be the end of the U.S. involvement.
Vice President J.D. Vance on This Week.
The big question, is the United States now at war with Iran?
No, we're not at war with Iran, John. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program.
President Trump now appearing to entertain the idea of a regime change in Iran, with Trump posting online, if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? Perry Russell, ABC News, Washington.
Very interesting, guys. Tomorrow there should be more news, I'm assuming. Like every day, we just get more news and more news. Oh, geez. Crazy times, everybody. Some crazy times going down. What's going to happen? I don't know. It's funny. I got this giant screen behind me, guys. I didn't realize it was going to be this big, but it's pretty big. Darlin, how you doing, Darlin? I mean, not Darren, Darren Zimmerman. What up, man? We watched this one. We just watched that one. North Texas reacts as U.S. military strikes Iran nuclear sites. You guys need to be vigilant in America. These Iranians could try to take revenge. For sure, Josh. I know a lot of cities, like a lot of major cities, they're kind of on heightened alert, and they've put law enforcement in specific places around the city, like churches and whatnot, just in case if there's any kind of retaliation. So everybody's kind of on high alert at the moment. But yeah, definitely getting crazy out there. How's your night going? Josh? My video of the road name change. Josh believes me. Steps are being taken. Maybe I need to buy some emergency food, guys. Somebody donated some giant barrels of emergency food, but they were like all way expired. We had to throw them out. They were like 27 years old. Just chilling, watch the news every day, not happy. How's everybody else? Yeah, it's basically the same, man. Basically, man, look how big those things are. Yeah, we're just kind of watching the news, trying to catch up with what we missed. I thought about buying a 4K webcam, but I don't even stream 4K. I don't know if it would be that noticeable. But I've been kind of doing research on 4K webcams. The highest this webcam goes is 1080p 30 FPS. But I mean, I don't think it makes I think it looks pretty. It's pretty clear because I usually stream in vertical mode, so my screen's pretty small anyway. So you probably wouldn't be able to tell a difference. I need to get another green screen though because I just put the one back there, but I need one in my other room. Darren says, I feel as though they would want to target the missile zones first: Montana, Colorado, Wyoming. Potentially. Charles says, are you proud of me took part in the migrant protest? How you doing, Charles? How's it going, Charles? By the way, guys, this live stream has had 31,000 views. That's crazy. And we currently have, if I could find it, we have, let me see. Let me see. How many likes do we have on this video, guys? We got 72 likes. Dang. That's crazy. Thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up button. And I don't know how many subscribers we've gained tonight, but we've been gaining a lot of subscribers recently. So if you're a subscriber, guys, thank you so much for subscribing. And shout out to Sandra in the chat. Thank you, Sandra, for becoming a super subscriber, a member on the channel. So thank you for the support, helping keep the lights on, my internet going. So shout out to Sandra again. Thank you. If anybody wants to help support the channel like Sandra, you can click on the link in the chat that's pinned at the top, or you can hit the join button, whatever's easiest for you guys. You don't have to. Just tuning in and watching is good enough. But if you do want to help, you can hit that link. I hope my country, the UK, doesn't get involved. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people people need to just give it some time. You know, everybody's like jumping the gun, being like, oh, we need to do this. Everybody need to just calm down. Calm down. Let's see what happens. Everybody's just like, oh, we got to do this. We got to do this. Blah, 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 blah. Just like, let's just take a second. Let's take a step back, guys. Let's give it a week, okay? Give it a week. Let's just see how things pan out. You live in Colorado? I've never been to Colorado. Iran doesn't have the capabilities to take out missile installations. Probably. I mean, Iran's pretty weak at the moment. Joe says, hey, fun fact, if nothing don't happen now, it won't happen. It will happen somewhere, and something to do with the number 11. Something strange with events with the ending in the number 11. Huh. I'm just looking at the news here. And if there's any recent things popping up. 3 days ago, 7 hours ago, 2 days ago, 3 hours ago. World News Tonight. Retired generals analyze. No president's ever been to deal a blow like this, blah, blah, blah. Putin's bold warning. That was a day ago, 15 hours ago, 5 hours ago. $11. July 4th, 7 plus 4 equals 11. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, you can't live your life in fear. That's the whole reason. The whole terrorism thing is they try to prevent you from living your life. And if you stop living your life, then they win. You know. You just kind of have to live your life. Let's see here. What is this? Not 1 square inch of NATO ground will be given up, James Roch says, vows to support in every way.
Well, again, thank you to both of you. You both have deep knowledge of the matter that is near and dear to everybody's heart on this committee.
The NATO summit?
Strengthen NATO. Preacher, I like your thoughts. I believe, although Putin has made a lot of mistakes, there's a mistake I think he won't make. And that is, I don't think he will engage militarily a NATO country. We have committed to our to our allies that Article 5 means exactly what it says. That includes the Baltic states and everybody between there and Los Angeles. And
Okay. I think we've watched a lot of these videos. I don't think we haven't seen this one.
Foreign policy advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Ophir, great to have you on the show. I want to play some sound of the Israeli Prime Minister talking about President Trump and this strike. Watch.
History will record that President Trump acted to deny
I've seen this one a couple times.
dangerous regime, the world's most dangerous weapons.
This is what Netanyahu said on Saturday after
lead the Middle East and beyond
after the bombing happened.
And peace.
I mean, he's right, Ophir. This is a new Middle East. You've got Hezbollah, you've got Hamas, and the Houthis seem to be rather neutralized at the point. Iran significantly weaker, and as Netanyahu says, a pivot of history, and it happened in 25 minutes.
Right, absolutely. It was a big win yesterday for civilization. We've been hitting the Iranian regime for the past 10 days, and yesterday was a huge strike on their 3 key nuclear facilities. And America did a great thing for civilization, and we thank them for that, and the President Trump for that.
Yeah, I want to play some more sound. This is from Oklahoma Senator James Langford talking about alliances, specifically the alliance between Russia and Iran. Here.
Putin is slaughtering the Ukrainians next door using Iranian weapons, as they have done for a very long time now through this war. And so it is not surprising that the two of them continue to be able to ally together. The challenge that we have right now is we cannot have a nuclear-armed Iran. We cannot have an Iran that is the largest state sponsor of terrorism that continues to be able to develop new technologies to be able to attack their neighbors.
And I wonder if you're as the
Josh says, why is it that so important for the U.S. to get involved?
Iran and Russia,
and they are
China, Iran and North
the Russians
Korea.
are using
Are you
Iranian weapons? No way.
Well, yes, we are concerned, but in essence, Iran.
Pastor says, Lockford. I've talked to him a couple times.
And as the Prime Minister said, our objective in this operation, the Rise of Lions operation, is to remove the.
You've talked to who a couple times?
The nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat that has been threatening.
How you doing, Hamster?
We've been doing that for the past 10 days, and yesterday was a huge strike that the Americans did on 3 key nuclear facilities, and it was a big win for civilization. As the Prime Minister and the President have said constantly.
Oh, the senator that showed. Oh, you've actually talked to him in real life.
Region, peace is achieved through strength. And yesterday, America showed a lot of strength. And
interesting.
For that.
Yeah, and I wonder if something happens, if this regime, if the leadership in Iran falls, who do you think, is there a concern about who fills that vacuum?
Well, again, the Prime Minister defined the goal in this operation to remove the nuclear and ballistic missile threat. If as a byproduct, the regime falls, and so be it. But that's a decision that the Iranian people need to make. The Iranian people need to make the decision that after 46 years of oppression, are they better off?
Metalman says, Josh, Iran announced its nuclear program in 2009 and threatened the U.S., Israel, and others. While doing it, they've boasted about it. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure they're not bragging about it now, because it's gone for the most part. Even if they did manage to, smuggle out the uranium or whatever they had in there, it's gonna take them a while to rebuild. It set this what Trump did set them back pretty far, I think. And Israel's taken out a bunch of their top leaders. They're not just gonna bounce back from this. It's gonna take, at the very least, years probably. So yeah, I think it set them back quite a bit. Okay, let me go back to Steam real quick. Let me go to the actual store because I want to see what's for sale on the store. Discounts and can I just search by specials? Yes. Searching by specials real quick. Let's see. Mortal Kombat. Any Mortal Kombat games out there? I mean, any Mortal Kombat fans out there? Fishing Simulator. Think Fishing Simulator would be any fun? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I mean, it got good reviews. Fuel harvest together. You dig for fuel. But what do you exactly do in Fishing Simulator? Drill in the ice and then you actually go fishing? I've only been fishing like once. Israel took out one of their nuclear scientists also. Yeah, it's kind of hard to build a nuke when like the people that know how to build a nuke are all gone now. And then the stuff you need to build a nuke is also gone. Unless they know something we don't know, but have you guys gotten any new video games lately? And also, what kind of game consoles you got? You got PlayStation, Xbox. I think I just bought an Xbox. Well, I've had an Xbox One since the Xbox One came out, but I bought another Xbox One at my thrift store. It was only $17. And then my brother gave me a PlayStation 4 during Christmas. But those are my newest consoles. I mainly play on PC now, but I don't think I'm going to upgrade to the newest Xbox, the PlayStation 5. I feel like they're just a waste of money. I'd rather upgrade my computer. But I know a lot of you out there probably have PS5s and PlayStation 5s or whatever. Xbox 5s. I need to play this game. Return to Moria, Lord of the Rings. Jeebus, one of my subscribers, he bought me this game. He gifted that to me on Steam. I haven't tried it out yet, though. I have not tried it out yet. PS5, man, it's a lot of power for the money you get. Yeah, I suppose. But how much is it? It's like $500 or something, right? I mainly play PC, but I have a PS4 collection, collecting dust. And less maintenance and user-friendly. Yeah, I mean, if you just want to play games, there's nothing bad wrong with consoles. But because I live stream, it's just easier for me to like do it all on computer. Plus, there's always Steam sales going on computer. Police Simulator. But yeah, I got nothing against consoles. I just, if I was gonna pay like $500 or however much they cost, I would just upgrade my computer. I could do a pretty decent upgrade with $500. You think the Iraq War was only an excuse for Bush and Cheney, to be honest? People are trying to compare the Iraq situation to make that statement. Iraq didn't have WMDs in 2003. They did have WMDs in 1990. So it wouldn't be a surprise if they did in 03. Age of Empires. Josh says Britain gained a lot of power from the Iraq War. Have you ever played Farming Simulator? Is Farming Simulator any good? I don't know. $14 gigabytes. But yeah, I got a bunch of the Lego games too. Agents of Mayhem. I want to check something real quick. Let me go back to the news stations. This is from GB News. I've never heard of GB
Our top
News.
story this morning, President Trump has hailed bullseye strikes on Iran as he calls for regime change in order to make Iran great again.
Now, it comes as the aftermath of America striking three key nuclear sites, which the U.S. Defense Secretary declared an overwhelming success.
U.S. Central Command conducted
20
a
trillion to the
precision
wars in
strike
the Middle East.
in the
That's a
middle of the
crap
night
ton of money. Not to mention all
three
the
nuclear
lives
facilities
we
in
lost.
Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan in order to destroy or severely degrade Iran's nuclear program. And as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs will demonstrate, it was an incredible and overwhelming success.
Overwhelming.
Well, fears are now growing as
I mean, whether you guys think Trump did the right thing in bombing it, you got to admit that our U.S. military went in there, did the job, got out, and nobody even knew it happened. A lot of stuff, a lot of logistical stuff had to happen for that to happen, and they executed it perfectly. So whether it was a good idea or not, we got a pretty crazy military. We got a pretty powerful military to pull that off, with fueling the jets in air multiple times. The whole thing is just kind of crazy. They're definitely going to make a movie about this one day. I mean, we're living the movie right now. We're experiencing the movie in real time. We're part of the movie.
experts warn that nuclear material could have been moved by Iran ahead of Operation Midnight Hammer. It comes as satellite images, which you can see on the screen now, reveal that Iran's Fordow nuclear site was severely damaged, but it's unclear as to whether or not it was completely destroyed.
Iran's supreme leader broke his silence in reaction to the strikes on X, stating...
Also, guys, real quick, we now have 6,873 subscribers. That's nuts. We've gained like 400 subscribers in like the past 2 days. That's crazy. We're almost to 7,000. That's nuts. We also gained a couple members on the channel. So, guys, if you hit the join button or clicked on the link in the chat and became a member on the channel, you guys are awesome. You get access to members-only live streams, members-only chat when I have it turned on. You get priority when I'm playing video games. If I'm playing a multiplayer game and you have the game, you get priority to play with me before everybody else does. So kind of cool perks like that. Behind-the-scenes videos, vlogs. So if you are a member, like Sandra in the chat, I think Sandra's still here, right? Shout out to Sandra in the chat.
The enemy had made a grave mistake.
Well, Sir Keir Starmer is now calling for Iran to return to the negotiating table.
Well, joining us now, former Conservative Special Advisor Oscar Redrop and Defence Secretary, Defence Correspondent, I can't see this, Robert Fox from The Standard. Robert, here's what I want to know, first of all, is just what are we dealing with when you think of these bomb busters that they were?
These
what
bomb
exactly
busters.
do they do? How powerful are they?
Well, they weigh 15 tons, and they can only be carried by the known carriers are the B-2 bomber, the Spirit, which did this 37-hour round trip, which was 7 of them. Or, it's amazing, you can do it with quite a slow over-the-ground transport Hercules, a gunship, which can carry a bomb that big and risks itself, and you would have to go in from Jordan, so you can see it's a no-brainer.
But this is the first time it's been used in anger. They've tried something like it with mixed success in Afghanistan, and it depends what you're trying to break through. Because you say this great weight of this thing, the MOP, the GBU-57, as it's known, the massive ordnance penetrator, has to go down, and it detonates at different levels and finally explodes once it has penetrated probably 60 yards, provided it's solid rock, which they've got at Fordour. They are not so clear
37
about,
hours.
and I'm still wondering
Yeah,
just
that's
about
nuts.
whether they may have to go round again.
So how much damage they've actually done. But as you were trying to explain there, this bomb, this penetrates like up to 60 meters of concrete.
I mean, I'm sure they probably have like
and it
autopilot.
explodes a number of times.
But I don't think they're like
to
sleeping.
open up a passage.
You know,
It's
I
the-
don't know.
it's-
I don't know if they're
it's the
sleeping in the
triggering
jet and just
system
have it on autopilot.
that is
Probably
so
not.
important. It is not nuclear. It is the most powerful bomb.
And I don't know if
next
it's
to a
like
nuclear bomb.
So
if they have like a wingman. And I don't know if there's two people in the jet, or if it's just a one person jet, one person bomber.
How much damage they've caused, if they've neutralized Iran.
I don't know if they
or
could
not.
kind of tag team it,
BDA,
or if it's just one pilot.
battle damage assessment.
Right.
That's what's going on. And as far as I can make out, as of last night, it was not complete. You have to do it with sensors, with goodness knows what. Oops. And I suspect you may have to do it with intelligence on the ground. Now, you may have kicked the doors in and blocked the entrance to a lot of
I
the
couldn't sleep up. I had a
underground
mission to complete.
But then there is a secondary question.
Nasuka, how you doing,
that's actually
Nasuka?
becoming the
Shout
main
out to Nasuka, by the way.
question now that
You
you've
became
raised
a channel
where
member the
has
other
the
night,
stuff
and the notification
gone?
didn't pop up on my screen.
Because
So I didn't
it was
realize it until the
assumed
day after.
up until the weekend.
But yeah, shout out to Nasuka in the chat for
and
becoming a
storage
member on the
possibly
channel.
of refined
Thank you
or
again.
being refined uranium,
Appreciate
and
you.
possibly even
Sorry I didn't
above
shout you out when
60%,
you became a
get
member.
to
I didn't see the
90%
notification.
grade, and that is
Must have been a
nuclear
glitch or something.
weapons grade.
But shout out now,
50%
Nasuka.
was
Thank
thought
you
to be
again.
in Fordour. And yet, and there are very clear, very graphic pictures of a convoy of about a dozen
You are our
trucks
newest
taking stuff
channel member.
out of Fordour in the middle of the week. And some of the things
I'm gonna
about
subscribe to
were
this
going
channel.
into the public domain from Israeli intelligence, whatever you say, and it's very clear, particularly from the Air Force, is that they are saying that they are not sure where the stuff. by
Yasset
that I
Doom, how
mean
you doing,
the
Yasset?
refining,
Yasset was here the other night.
uranium is right now.
Pretty sure.
Oscar, let's bring you in at this point because we're hearing that there was a phone call last night between Keir Starmer and Donald Trump. Do you think he feels blindsided by what we saw over the weekend?
He's powerless. What influence has he got? What's the point of a phone call?
No. Eamon is
Make
absolutely spot on
Iran
there. I think
great
the
again.
pressing of the UK. If we talk purely about
Yeah,
the
last night
politics
we were
of this,
figuring
we
out if
are
they're
as
gonna
irrelevant
fight
as
back
we-
or not.
I can remember in my lifetime on this. If anything, I'd say it's slightly worse than irrelevance, because in the week leading up to the weekend, all we were hearing from the Prime Minister was de-escalation, very sceptical. I've been, we've been on the phone. We've felt very sceptical that there's going to be a US attack of any sort at all. So we look out of step, we look irrelevant, and actually. When I say it's worse than that, we're clearly not listened to in any shape or form by Trump. That's to be expected in some ways, as Eamon's kind of, I think you're getting at, because like, what could we offer anyway? What cards do we have anyway?
Yeah, but he's not listening to France. He's not listening to Germany. He doesn't have to listen to anyone.
Exactly. But the fact remains is that our special relationship, as we often like to call it, when we reach moments like this now, and global security is the way it is, and we are in a pre-war age.
It seems like it would have. It seems like it'd be big enough to have two pilots.
In a war age at this moment in time, the fact that our greatest ally in America, our strongest ally in America, clearly doesn't pay a jot of mind or difference to what we as a country take seriously and believe on the global
Steve
stage.
Radar
It's
says, did
hugely
you know that
embarrassing for
these...
PM, 'cause
Wait, did you
spent
know
a lot
the
of
three
political
sides
capital in
bombed
this
was one
relationship over
Israel
the last
had
few
already
months.
targeted and was
He
empty?
can't get a straight answer when he's asked, do you support the US
Well, I mean,
action
even
over
if
the
it was
weekend? He can't
empty,
say yes or no.
Well, I mean,
because well, you'd imagine
the complex
most of
is
the Labour
like
bench would say
toast
no.
now, right? So they can't
Yeah,
reuse it unless
to
they
Eamon's
repair
point,
it.
in a way, and this is a depressing thing to say. in the real world effect, in terms of the influence it has over America, and then as a result, what's happening in the Middle East, it's almost irrelevant what our Prime Minister comes out and says. That's been
Steve
proven
says he
this
thinks
week.
it was
And
all
I
for
think
show.
That's really quite embarrassing.
Let's go to Republican commentator Nora
V2
Lee
has
Knotson,
2 pilots and the
on
ability
this
to
one.
carry a 3rd crew member.
Nora Lee,
Okay.
we're talking about who listens
So maybe
to
they
Trump
could
and who
tag
does he
team it.
listen to
If
and
like
whatever.
one got
What about
tired,
the
they could just kind of
Republican
switch out.
Party? Has he carried them
Because
with him?
flying 32 hours nonstop,
a very
being
hard
refueled in
place
the
that the
air,
Republican Party is in
I feel
right
like
now.
you'd
I
almost
think
have to tag team
he's
it, or you'd be
tried
so
to quiet
tired.
a few of the dissenters, but on the whole, as a Republican, as a patriot, I feel betrayed by this decision. And I think now that he's talking about regime change and making Iran great again, his base is going to be very disappointed because they voted for Trump to make America great again. No new wars, no adventures, no
Josh,
failed
as far as
2003
I
Iraq
know,
war. This will
they
be
just
a
targeted the
disaster for our
facilities and there were
economy,
no
for
casualties.
our budget deficit,
At least
and
that's
for our
what we're saying.
security. There's been security warnings issued
No,
overnight for
no
Americans
civilians, no
abroad. Iran has
military.
threatened to activate sleeper cells in the U.S.
They
I
just took
feel
out the
less
complexes.
safe as an
I
American
don't
now
think there was
living
anybody
in
inside
London.
them.
It
I don't know.
reminds me of 2003. I was living in Luxembourg. I felt less safe.
There's also a split
I mean, there
now
may
in
have been. I
Trump's
don't know,
top
but
team, isn't there? Because he's talking about regime change, which is directly opposite to what JD
why would
Vance
they
and
shoot
Pete
empty
Hegseth
ones
are
for no
saying
reason after
just at the
32
weekend.
hours? They had to be warning shots.
I agree. I think it's an
You think
absolute
the material was
mistake
already
that we
moved?
got dragged into this, and it's going to be an absolute distraction to what his platform was, what he got voted on, and it's going to hurt him in the midterms as well. But very concerned where this is going. I don't know if he's using the regime change as a way to try to get Iran to the negotiating table, and I hope maybe that's the case. But quite frankly,
I
we
think that's
just
what he's doing.
destabilized the Middle East, and we destabilized.
I think he keeps bringing up regime change as like a tactic to basically tell their leader, like, hey, get in line, de-escalate the situation, do not threaten us, or you're going to be gone. So I think he's trying to reiterate that and make it very clear, like, hey, if you don't want to, get in line, then you're going to get out of line real quick. Yasset says, well, from what everyone is saying, but I remember CNN saying they didn't. I don't know what nuclear facilities are or how they handle nuclear material, but bombing it sounds hella dangerous. I think they dropped a total of 15 bombs. What else are these people saying? Let me see. And if you're not a subscriber, guys, consider subscribing. Join the community if you're brand new to the channel. You don't have to, but it's free. Doesn't cost anything. I play a lot of video games here on the channel as well. So if you're a fan of gaming, I do a lot of that. So it's the best of both worlds. Yasset says something like that, but they were probably saying they moved it so Trump wouldn't bomb them. Yeah, I agree. Of course, they're going to say, like, oh, you didn't really do a lot of damage. We can rebuild. We can repair. The material wasn't even in there. Like, you guys failed. Of course, they're going to say that. They're not going to come out and be like, well, the U.S. just kicked our butt. Larson, how you doing, man? Couldn't tell from the channel name. I know, right? Keep calm and game on. Yep. There's a lot of different theories out there. GB News is an anti-Islam far-right channel. Many hate them otherwise. I never even heard of them. I've never even heard of this channel until now. Let's see here. Let me go to home. And then I'm just going to go to news. We're just watching a little bit of everything. The Iranian regime has never been weaker, Netanyahu advisor says. Yeah, this is what Fox is saying.
Joining us now for our big close-up interview is International Affairs Advisor to Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, Caroline Glick. It is great to have you with us. We certainly appreciate your time tonight. A two-part question, Caroline. Number one, how does the strike fundamentally alter the power dynamics in the Middle East? And I guess the backup part of that question would be, could Iranian leaders finally accept the fact that they're not going to get a nuclear weapon?
Natanz is another nuclear facility.
Well, thanks. That's a very important question.
Trump
Thanks for
doesn't
having
want
me,
a
Kevin.
regime change, would
This wasn't
destabilize the
just a
government,
military
and that never
operation, a
ends
joint
well.
U.S.
I think he's
Israeli
just
military operation. It
trying to
was
scare the
a
leader
pivot
into
point for civilization's battle against
de-escalating things.
barbarism. And for 46 years, the Islamic
Steve says Russia and China
regime
have
in
said they will give
Iran
them
has
nukes.
been making advances for barbarism, terrorism throughout the globe. It built proxy armies all around Israel of its terror forces while building its nuclear weapons program and its
Tharson
ballistic
says, I
missiles
feel like this has all just begun and the worst hasn't even happened yet.
when the U.S. joined the fight
Possibly.
and destroyed
It might
Iran's
get
three
worse before it
major
gets better. It could also
nuclear
get worse before it
installations,
could also get
civilization
worse before it
turned
gets worse.
massively turning back the clock.
I mean, it could also
and
just get
taking
worse.
and making a severe blow to barbarism on behalf of freedom in this world. It's going to make a change for the better throughout the Middle East, for the entire Arab world, for Israel, and of course for international security. So this was perhaps the most meaningful.
You can see the 3 holes there where the rockets went in, the bunker busters, and then the 3 holes there. Pretty precise. I mean, that's pretty precise, guys.
Significant week since Israel started Operation Rising Lion on June 13th. And then when the United States joined in yesterday, it was probably the most significant week strategically for the Middle East, perhaps even since 1979.
Wow, Caroline, thank you for joining us. I'm Molly Line here. As we mentioned earlier, President Trump has questioned why there shouldn't be regime change in Iran. And Senator Lindsey Graham earlier today said that Israel is pushing for it. Watch.
So I talked to Bibi just a few minutes ago. He wanted me to urge the Iranian people to end this madness. Take this regime down and have a better life for yourselves. And second, he wanted me to tell the American people, Israel's not going to live this way anymore. They're not going to live under threat from Iran anymore.
Now, there are a lot of reports that the Ayatollah is hiding in a bunker, that he has already picked his own potential replacement. Caroline, is regime change, a real possibility?
Okay, guys, I asked in the chat, should there be regime change in Iran? You guys can vote on that if you want. Yaset says, my grandmother said that Iran has no more missiles to fight back with. By the way, I'm in Cali. How are things in Cali? Are there still protests going on? They haven't really been talking a whole lot about protests in the news lately. It's been just kind of like all about Iran.
In Iran.
Look, I think what we've done, we have 2 goals for our operation. One was to end the nuclear threat emanating from Iran by destroying its nuclear installations. That's largely been concluded, both as a result of the work that we did since June 13th and, of course, the incredible, awesome strike that the United States carried out under
Metalman
President
says the U.S.
Donald
is
Trump
far out of reach of
yesterday.
Iranian strikes.
But the second one was taking out their...
I mean, as far as like missiles go, yeah, but they could still have like sleeper cells within the U.S. People that believe in their cause, that they're just, they're just getting ready to do something. All it takes is like one dude with some kind of weapon, some dude in a car, just, mow people down or whatever. There's a lot of crazy people out there, so I think that's what people are afraid of is sleeper cells, because everybody knows like Biden let 20 million people just come into the country. Just let them walk in, like the border's secure now and there's nobody coming in. But out of those 20 million that Biden let in, there could be some sleeper cells, and I'm sure there were sleeper cells here before even Biden let the 20 million in. Or this could have radicalized people, So we just don't know. So I'm not really too concerned about rockets and missiles. I think people are more concerned about those. But still, I think sleeper cells are going to do less damage than a nuke would. So I think Trump thought the same thing, you know?
Their ballistic
He
missile
kind of weighed his
arsenals, or their
options.
capacity to build them, their industrial capacity to build them, as well as their launchers. And we're working very
It's
steadily
easier to
towards
handle
accomplishing
like
that
sleeper
goal as
cells and
well,
bad
quickly,
actors
much quicker than we thought we would be able
than
to
somebody
accomplish
dropping
it.
a nuke.
Those two missions are our missions, but we believe that
Yusette
by
says, I'll see
accomplishing
some things on
those
my local
missions, we're
news about
setting the
protests, but not
conditions
that constantly
for
anymore.
the Iranian people to take up the mission that they actually took on themselves very early after the Islamic Revolution, which is to overthrow it. You know, we see every year or two thousands upon thousands of Iranians risking death and often dying in order to try to overthrow this regime. And here we see the first time we have conditions that would enable them to do it. So it's not the point of Israel's operation, but it may well be a consequence. And now, with President Trump essentially saying that he supports the Iranian people, that may also give them the confidence to move forward. There's a lot of repression right now by the Iranian regime. They're arresting thousands of people for social media posts. I know that they've arrested.
But guys, it's getting pretty late, and I got to get to bed. Or I'm going to be just too tired to do anything tomorrow. I'm going to try to stream on and off throughout the day tomorrow because I do not have to go to work. So I will be streaming during the day probably, and then I will be on for sure tomorrow night. I usually stream at night, but yeah, I don't have to go to work tomorrow, so I'll be streaming throughout the day, maybe playing some video games, watching some news stuff. But yeah, thanks for popping in, guys. Thanks for subscribing. We got a lot of new subscribers tonight. A lot of people hit that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the super chats, all the super stickers you guys sent. If you became a channel member like Sandra in the chat, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you. And yeah, somebody else was Yusette. No, not Yusette. It was where were they? I know they popped in here. Nasuka. Nasuka, thank you again, Nasuka, for becoming a channel member as well. If anybody wants to become a channel member and help the channel grow and keep the lights on, you can hit the link in the description. I mean, the link in the chat that's pinned up there, or you can hit the join button. But yeah, thanks for popping in, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Until then, thank you for watching, and remember, keep calm and game on. Toodles!